This week, the Carmel Greyhounds take on the North Central Panthers for this year's homecoming game. Carmel's trying to get their 50th homecoming win, while North Central tries to win its first game since 2021. Carmel has all the momentum after taking down the undefeated Wildcats last week and has the homecoming crowd on their side. This should be a fun one.
Good evening and welcome to Carmel Stadium on homecoming. I'm Boudouris, joined alongside my partner and good friend Gigi, Welp, and this place is absolutely rocking. Tailgating started right around 8 o'clock this morning, but continuing ever since, and this house is packed. Gigi, how's it going?
Absolutely. It's going really great, Noah. I'm looking at the stands right now, and I see a lot of blue and gold on the home side. Not very much on the North Central side, but that's okay. They still have 20 minutes to show up. We are excited for an excellent matchup between the 0-5 North Central Panthers and the 3-2 Carmel Greyhounds. Noah, what do you have for us on that?
Yeah, this North Central team has really been struggling this year, as they have in years past, and frankly, none of the games have been that entertaining. 49-6 last week against Cathedral, and they're just beating up on all cylinders. Meanwhile, on the other side, Carmel is having a 3-2 year, sort of back and forth, but really the pinnacle of this Carmel team has been the defense. Gigi, what do you think about this defense so far?
Well, no, Carmel's defense has really stepped up this year, especially with Artie Bryant and Christian Peterson. Those two senior boys are absolute defensive beasts out there. Artie Bryant with 4 tackles and 2 sacks. Christian Peterson with 1 field goal return and a 173 kick return on the game. It was a fantastic game to watch, and he currently leads the team in yards.
Yeah, Carmel's defense as a whole has been fantastic this year. 7 interceptions, 6 fumble recoveries, 5 blocked field goals, and a blocked punt. So many turnovers all around. But let's take a look at the defensive keys to the game. First off, it's keep forcing those turnovers.
Absolutely. Especially with Artie Bryant and Christian Peterson, the forcing turnovers is going to be pretty easy, and this team is not the strongest. So we're going to see probably a couple of fumbles and a couple of interceptions from this Carmel team, and they just keep capitalizing on that.
That next key to the game is exploiting the weaknesses. We've talked, North Central has a lot of them. And so capitalizing on those opportunities, pouncing on the chances that they get, that's where Carmel's going to stand out tonight. Being able to, once again, exploit the weaknesses that this North Central Panthers team has. Lastly, it's trust the special teams.
Oh yeah, our special teams game has been very strong, led by Joshua Plachek, who got 5 points in Carmel's last game against Lawrence North, which was a very narrow win by 3 points. So Joshua Plachek really contributed to Carmel's winning that game. And our special teams has just been nearly flawless this entire season, blocking field goals, blocking punts. Carmel has done an excellent job.
Yeah, like you said, nearly perfect by Plachek so far this year, and the defensive side of special teams has been fantastic. 2 blocked field goals last week, a total of 5 on the year. So many great things for this Carmel team, but like you said, we want to highlight Artie Bryant and Christian Peterson. Yeah. These 2 guys have been solid, just constants for this Carmel team so far.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bryant and Peterson, leaders, captains, and we expect to see a whole lot of them night in and night out. As we've seen, Peterson had that Week 1 pick 6, which propelled Carmel to that Week 1 win. So really, just in a young team, these guys all rely on these 2 defensive captains.
Absolutely. Bryant and Peterson both have stepped up as captains to this team, and we're looking to see a lot of really good defense from them. But now I think we must send it up to the Paratrooper delivering the ball to Carmel's very own stadium right here.
Skydive, Indianapolis, sort of a tradition here at Carmel for big games. So looking forward to that coming up in just a moment here on CHTV.
Yeah, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans and adrenaline enthusiasts, please direct your attention to the skies above as we prepare to welcome the Skydivers from Skydive, Indianapolis to Carmel Stadium.
lot of exciting stuff here tonight, and really a great way to set the tone here at homecoming.
Yeah. And next, we're going to talk about the strengths of Carmel's offense. No, what are some offensive keys to the game that we have to look at here?
Yeah, our offensive keys to the game, we've talked turnovers for the defense, but for the offense, it's taking advantage of those turnovers. We've noticed all year when the offense has that short field to play with, they've had so much more production as an offensive unit. When they have just a 35-yard field compared to a 75-yard field, so many more points and so much better production from this Carmel team. Second off, it's let Tony get comfy.
Oh yeah, Noah. Our Carmel's quarterback is only a sophomore, Anthony Coulter. He played on JV last year. I watched him from the press box up there. He was a solid player on JV, but he's getting a little bit lost in the varsity arena here. However, he still has a lot of potential. He's only a sophomore. He has a lot of skill, and he really just needs to get comfortable in the pocket. He needs to trust his offensive line to protect him. That's what they're there for, and he just needs to get comfortable back there.
Yeah, we've seen there's been some games where Anthony Coulter just looks stiff in the pocket. He's not mobile, but some games he does break out. He uses his legs a little bit, and in those circumstances, we see a much better production from the Carmel offense. Last key to the game is ride the hot hand. This team has had a mentality all year of next man up. Who's going to be that next running back? Who's going to be that next receiver or even next quarterback? And we've seen defensive substitutions and guys stepping in with injuries. So riding that hot hand is going to be the big key for Carmel this year and this game, is being able to see who's going to step up, who's playing well, and you have to feed that hot hand continuously.
Yeah, absolutely. And next up, we're going to talk more about Carmel's very own sophomore quarterback, Anthony Coulter. He has 471 yards on the season, which in comparison to North Central's quarterback, who only has 382, Anthony Coulter has a little bit of an advantage there, but I'm not sure how he's going to use that in this game, Noah. Yeah,
Coulter, 379 pass yards, 471 total, but he's been a little bit average. If you look at his touchdown to interception ratio, 4 and 4, sort of showing the average year that he's had so far.
Yeah.
But that's what they expect. He's a sophomore, he's still developing. And the Carmel coaching staff has really been putting their eggs in the basket of developing their quarterback as opposed to forcing him to be that guy to bring a state championship this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And no, something interesting I've noticed is that Anthony Coulter has significantly more pass yards against more difficult teams. Carmel's only 2 losses on the season to the Christian Brothers Cadets and the Trinity Shamrocks down in Kentucky. Anthony Coulter has had more pass yards in those games than he has in the games that Carmel has won. And given this North Central team and my prediction of Carmel coming out on top in this game, I'm excited to see how Anthony Coulter is able to play against a team that is a little bit weaker. I want to see him come out as strong as he did against the Shamrocks last week.
Yeah, this kid has a lot of potential, a lot of scouts looking after him, but he's only 16 years old. So there is so much room for him to grow, and that's what this season really is for him. This is the Anthony Coulter development season.
Yeah.
Some people think it's a gap year, it's a bit of a rebuild year, but really this is the season that Anthony Coulter gets comfortable, like we said, for that key to the game. So having him get chances, get reps in the pocket, find opportunities to run, this is when he's really going to strive and show the future that this Carmel team has.
Yeah, absolutely. And Anthony Coulter, the pressure is not all on him for this game. Carmel has a very strong rush team with Elijah Alfayed leading the team in rush yards and with Christian Peterson holding the fort down on defense with his interceptions and his fumble forces. Anthony Coulter does not have to do everything for this team.
Yeah, we've seen Alfayed, we've seen Johnson, we've seen a whole lot of guys run the ball, and the receiving unit has also been very strong. Nate Rogers, a senior, showing a lot of leadership. He's been stepping up big time so far this year.
Yeah. Nathan Rogers, the senior, like you said, leads in receiving yards. However, it is Jacob Bellin, the sophomore, the little brother of Reese Bellin, who is actually leading in touchdowns on the season.
Let's pause for a patriotic moment here on CHTV.
Fans, please rise as we welcome under the direction of Mr. Kyle Parker, the Ambassadors Show Choir, to perform our national anthem.
another great performance by one of Carmel's many choirs. We've talked about all the good news for Carmel tonight, but let's talk about the bad news. Looking at tonight's injury report, Dom Shockley's still out with injury. So is Will Strines and Hunter Snow. Ozzie Pollard is questionable with illness, but I did see him today, and he looks healthy.
Awesome, Noah. See, Ozzie Pollard, I was talking before, Jacob Bellin does not lead in touchdowns. Ozzie Pollard does. So if he were to actually be out sick tonight, that would not be a good sign for Carmel. But as he said, Noah, he looks healthy. So let's hope to see him out here on the field today. Yeah,
we dealt with both these two defensive injuries of Dom Shockley and Hunter Snow last week, and we went into last week's game predicting it would be a major setback for the defense. But the defense stepped up, and guys filled in, and even the defensive player of the week for defense this week was that sub in, that next man up, as we talked about riding the hot hand. So yeah, Drew Cannon was the defensive player of the week. So injury report, nobody loves injuries, but last week really showed that even through the injuries, Carmel can step up and be that team that can win games.
Absolutely, Noah. And given the amount of rough tackles and stuff I've seen on the field out here close up, I honestly am surprised that Carmel does not have more injuries. In Carmel's home game a couple weeks ago, I saw Uchenna Ojada go down with what looked to be an ACL injury, but luckily that was not, because Ojada is another very good, solid defensive player. Luckily, he was in the tent for about an hour, came out strong as ever, no problems.
Yeah, just moments away from kickoff here on CHTV. A lot of things to look forward to. It's homecoming. Packed house, a lot of blue and gold.
Oh yeah.
A little bit of red and black on the other side, but so much excitement and so much energy here tonight. And look forward to a Hounds win.
Absolutely, Noah. Well, thank you all for being here with us today. Make sure to stay tuned for Casey Stevens and Sean Barnes calling the game.
The environment for homecoming is really electric. Most of the students are at the game. You got kids there, family there. You know, it's the parade during the day and the festivities throughout the day. So to go in this year, really just play our brand of football, go by the game plan, and just hopefully end up on top. If you're not at the game, then where you at?
Alongside me is my good friend and color commentator tonight, Dashuan Barnes. Dashuan, tonight is going to be one game for the history books. Once again, the Greyhounds are looking for their 50th win all time on homecoming. What do they need to do tonight to achieve that goal?
Yeah, Casey, to be completely honest with you, as long as Carmel doesn't turn the ball over 6 times, there's no reason for them to lose this game. With all due respect, North Central, they're just not a good team. They've won just one single game since 2021, and they haven't had a positive win-loss season since 2020, where they went 6-4. And as you stated before, Carmel has been historically great in homecoming. They're looking for their 50th win in just 55 appearances. They've also got all the momentum in the world after beating the undefeated Lawrence North squad. So this should be a breeze. But as you know, with anything, and especially especially high school football, anything can happen.
Like you said, anything can happen, but this Greyhounds team is led by their running attack. We will be seeing split carries from 3 running backs, Elijah Al-Fayed, Norval Tucker, both seniors, and we will also be seeing the junior Colin Johnson. But tonight is really homecoming. Every player might be touching the field for tonight's game, so we may be seeing a lot of depth players reaching the field, including Brady Knutson, who we have not seen after being injured since week 2. So this is a chance for every player to step up and show the coaches that they deserve a starting spot.
Very, very true. And speaking of players who usually don't play that you might see tonight, last game was senior night, and it was a very close game. So some players that you usually might see come in during senior night, you know, second-string players who don't get that opportunity to play, they weren't able to play because of how close of a game it was. But speaking of that strong offense you were talking about, they're going to have to go up against the Panthers defense led by George Blumenberg.
And like you said, Blumenberg, 2 interceptions on the season, seeking his third tonight. Anthony Colner, just a sophomore at quarterback for the Greyhounds, might not have the strongest arm, but it is one accurate one, as he has thrown for 68% completion rate, which is a strong number, and with just more reps and 2 more years of practice at the varsity level, that number is going to continue to rise.
Very, very true. Impressive numbers from Colner there. And also what I like to see from Carmel is how they're opening up the playbook a little bit more. In the first couple of games, especially the first one against Homestead, the playbook looked a little bit limited, but, you know, they're letting him sling the rock around a little bit more, and that may be why he threw a pick last game, but, you know, it wasn't the worst pick in the world, so I just like to see that progression from him.
And we have seen a few risky throws out of him this season. Last game, he did kind of throw a 50-50 ball, which Ozzie Pollard and also Nate Rogers went up for. And that's kind of those risky moves that a young quarterback is going to be making, but just with the more reps, he's going to be maybe a star in the future for this team. But on the other side of the ball, you're really going to be looking at the wide receiver, Eli Thompson, just a junior for the Panthers, and he has made remarkable strides to be the #1 guy for the Panthers, and he's going to be the main target all night, and that's the main guy that the defense for the Greyhounds are going to need to shut down.
Very, very true, and Eli Thompson is a star amongst his not as good counterparts. You know, he's got the longest reception on the year for the Panthers at 58 yards, and just like the Carmel is slightly, they're both struggling with the passing game. Their wide receiver 1 for the Panthers is only averaging just under 34 yards per game. Casey, what do you think Carmel needs to do tonight to improve their passing?
You know, I believe you mean what does North Central need to do to improve their passing.
Sorry.
And I really think they need to just allow the field to open. If they can have a few guys go over the safety, because that's the weak position for the Greyhounds tonight. Both of their starting safeties are out, and Dominic Shockley and Hunter Snow both out with injuries. And you're going to be seeing 2 juniors in that safety position, in Brandon Adams and Drew Cannon. And if those guys cannot step up at homecoming, that's where the Panthers are really going to need to air the ball out. But you may also have a few drag routes just right shallow in the 2-yard markers. And if you're able to hit those, you're really relying on your playmakers to run up the field and make a few guys miss and try and take it to the house.
Very, very true. One rare soft spot in this Carmel defense. But I will say number 11, Drew Cannon, played a phenomenal game last game. You know, we had that interception, tons of energy, tons of great hits, lots of tackles. So I, at least for now, wouldn't say that that's a weak spot.
And it's really, this defense is led by 2 players in their cornerback for the Greyhounds. Christian Peterson, passing touchdown, running for a touchdown, and a pick 6. He can do it all on the field. And really, Artie Bryant leads the team in tackles. Both players are going to play at the collegiate level. And you're really going to be seeing what can those 2 players bring to the table tonight. Are they going to be able to shut down the Panthers like they've been doing to almost every single team all year? Or are they going to be really caught up in the moment and maybe make a few mistakes?
We'll see. As I said before, anything could happen, but this is Carmel's homecoming game. You know, they've got the crowd on their side. We're just 30 seconds away from kickoff from what should be a nice electric game for the Greyhounds.
And while we were talking about injuries, an injury to the kicking position for the Greyhounds tonight, missing their all-star kicker and Josh Plazchek, as Lucas Christomothy is going to be up to kick to start off the homecoming game, 55th homecoming game of the Greyhounds' entire football career, and this is where they could get their possible 50th win of all time, half a century of wins on homecoming. As the clock is just now going to dip under 0, Christomothy is going to line up, and this is where the game is all going to get started. The kickoff is the big part. Christomothy lines up for the kick. This is his first time to ever kick a ball here at Carmel Stadium on homecoming. It's going to be a short kick, received at the 22 from the Panthers. Finds an open spot, spins around, breaks a few tackles, and is going to be taken down by the Greyhounds at the 39-yard line. And this is going to be the first action of the night from the Panthers.
And that's obviously not the worst kick, just up to the 40, but that's not what you want to see. You know, he's a young guy coming in for his first kick. That's probably the worst kick we've seen all year, but that's not saying much considering we have one of the best kickers in the nation in Josh. But I think he'll shake that off. Probably just a little nervous, kicking his first game as the homecoming game.
And Heath Kaiser is going to be the helm. The senior quarterback has struggled throughout the entire season, having more rush attempts at the quarterback position than pass attempts as he takes the snap, hands it off to his running back in Perryman. Perryman is going to pick up a few yards but be dragged down quickly by the Greyhounds, setting up second down now. And Dashuan, it's really the run game for the Panthers. They are going to rely on that. They cannot air it out as much as they would like to. And it's the offensive line. If they cannot really hold the pocket and create gaps for their running back to run through, your quarterback is going to be stuck there too and is going to have to roll out the pocket and trying to find ways to create for himself.
Very, very true. Heath Kaiser has really struggled passing, as you said, completing only 49.4% of his passes so far.
Kaiser with another handoff to Perryman. Perryman is going to be dragged down. First few Greyhounds are going to take him down, as that's going to be just 3 and 4 left to go, so a 4-yard gain. And already momentum is already taken away from the Panthers, so Greyhounds forcing a 3rd down, 3rd and 4 to go. This is more of a passing situation if you're the Panthers. Your run game so far has only picked up 6 yards on 2 plays, so you need a few plays here to pick up just 4 yards. Kaiser has 2 to his left, 2 to his right, 1 to his left. Greyhounds looking not to pressure. And it's going to be a handoff once again to Perryman, but the Greyhounds are able to stop it, but there's a flag on the play, and that was the issue last week. There was, I believe, 11 holding calls in that entire game, but a total of 17 flags, and that's the issue.
And, you know, there is a flag on this play, but I like to play coach a lot. I love here in the booth. You know, I'm not a coach, but I do think some of these play calls are questionable. And although they are going to pick up the first down because of the flag, but I don't understand why you run the ball right there.
I wouldn't understand it either, but a face mask is called, so a 5-yard penalty, and it's an automatic first down for the Panthers. Kaiser has a bunch set to his right, 1 to his left. Sanzavit to his right. Takes it on his own and is going to be swarmed by the Greyhounds quickly, as he's going to be able to pick up just a few yards, but it's going to be a 2nd down.
And now I believe it's time for the Greyhounds to make an adjustment. The Panthers have made it obvious what they want to do here. They want to go through the run. They're probably a little bit scared to throw the ball in the secondary. So maybe we'll see Carmel send a little bit more pressure, you know, force them to throw the ball, try to find the gaps in that zone.
And we have not seen a pass yet, as that was more of a designed run for Kaiser, as he was able to just run up through the middle and really trust his offensive line to really open any gaps. It's going to be a toss play now for the Panthers. And just swallowed up once again, a few yards gained by Wells, as he was just going to pick up 2 yards. So it's going to be a 3rd and 5 to go for the Panthers.
And here you see Jabril Randolph sub into the game. We're going to have an extra corner. It looks like Carmel is prepared for them to pass the ball, so we may see a run here.
And we did see a run the last time, but it was a face mask, which pushed the Panthers up. But it's a 3rd and 5 already in Greyhound territory. This is a passing situation, but if you cannot rely on the arm of Kaiser, you're looking as he rolls out to his right, goes for the short pass, and a quick 1 foot in to Wells, and that's going to be a first down for the Panthers.
And this is not what you're going to see for Carmel. A team that has struggled all year offensively is running down the field here pretty quickly. Although they did get a little bit bailed out by that face mask call, they're putting together a pretty healthy drive here. And obviously that field position did help a little bit, but they look pretty good so far.
And this Panthers team only averaging 8.8 points on the entire season, while this Greyhounds team has shut out one team in King, which is an out-of-state opponent. But the Greyhounds against in-state opponents are 2-0, as it's going to be play action from Kaiser over to Alvet. Breaks the tackle, tries to spin away, but is going to be taken down quickly by the Greyhounds. I believe that is a tackle for loss, so 2 yards lost on that.
Pass complete to
It's going to be a 2nd and 12 now for the Panthers.
This is what I love about the Carmel's defense. It's just the hustle and grit that they possess. You saw him shake 2 defenders off, and then Drew Cannon and Charlie Marsh come over and make that tackle. It looks like he was going to break off, at least make it back to the line of scrimmage, but due to that hustle that they possess, it ended up being a tackle for loss.
Kaiser now with 2 to his right, 2 to his left. Rolls right, looks left, but is going to try and break away from the pocket. Has space and is going to slide down past the 30-yard line, does not pick up the third down, or does not pick up the first down.
On the
It's going to
quarterback
be down
keeper.
at the 30-yard line, so it's going to be 3rd and 3 now for the Panthers.
And if you saw what Carmel just did, it looked like
Gain
they
of
had
9 on the
Virginia
play.
as a QB spy, but Heath was just too fast for him. You know, great strategy from Carmel trying to contain him, but he's just a little too fast. Let's see how Carmel adjusts to that.
Down.
And a lot of design runs already out of the playbook from the North Central Panthers. They're really looking to get Coyer active with his legs and break away. But it's going to be a handoff to Perryman. Looking to pick up the first down, and it looks to be that he is short, only a pickup of 1 yard. So this Greyhounds front four are able to come together and get a stop here and force a 4th and 1.
And it looks like they're going to go for this. You know, I
Zale
was
Day
watching
and
them in
Keenan
warm-ups.
Bauer.
The kickers were struggling to make kicks from this range. I think the longest I saw personally, I obviously wasn't watching the whole time, the longest I saw them make the whole time during warm-ups was from about the 25. And mind you, that's in an out-of-game situation. They're just warming up, no pads and anything. So I'm not surprised they're going for this.
And I believe this could be a QB sneak situation. You just need 1 yard. Coyer's going to keep it himself and try and pick it up, and he does. So the Panthers are going to advance downfield already. I believe the Greyhounds may be caught in the moment. Really, this homecoming game, you can get caught up in all that energy and really kind of slip on your toes here and fall on your face. And so far, the Greyhounds have done that, giving up 2 third downs. So 2 and 2, already 100% completion percentage on 3rd down for the Panthers.
Very true, and this just shows you how important starting position could be, because if they started a little bit further back, they might not have been comfortable going for that 4th down.
Coyer now takes the snap, hand off to Perryman, counter play as he runs to the left and picks up a few close to the 20-yard line as he's going to be taken down quickly by the Greyhounds. Marsh is going to be credited with the tackle. 2 and 4, 2nd down.
Stopped by Charles Marsh for the Greyhounds.
And now we're going to have to see some adjustments from Carmel. I mean, the Panthers aren't even trying to throw the ball here. So I think we need to bring a heavy set in, maybe even take out one of these corners, get some meat down on that line, and stop this run game.
Now, if you're the Greyhounds, are you looking to put a little more pressure there on the offensive line and force them to really slip and get your guys in the backfield and probably get another tackle for loss as Perryman is going to be taken out of the game, and a flag is already going to be out there on the field.
I believe that was a hold.
The
first action by
Jalen
Jalen Hill. And it's going to be a hold against the Panthers, so they're going to be pushed back 10 yards. So it's going to be a 2nd and 14 for them to go up next. So the referees now are just going to be pushing the ball back 10 yards. Score still 0-0 with 6 minutes and 1 second left to go here in the first quarter. As so far, we've seen plenty of runs, 28 rushing yards from the Panthers and only 6 passing yards, really relying on the run game to wear down and hold the ball almost the entire first quarter, as half the quarter has already disappeared from the Greyhounds. And so far, the Panthers have been stuck in really the 20 to 40-yard territory of the Greyhounds.
Very, very true. And that's just what happens when you run the ball. You know, incompletion stop the clock, but they refuse to run the ball. But they might have to on 2nd and long.
Perryman hands it off, keeps it himself, and is going to be taken down quickly by the Greyhounds once again, as Will Engel is going to be the first one to get to him.
And now you've got a 3rd and long situation. If they don't run the ball, I really don't. I mean, excuse me, if they don't pass the ball, I really don't know what to say. You've got to pass the ball here. Is there any situation where you can run the ball here, Casey?
There's no situation, in my opinion, but you're going to be seeing the first action of the big tight end, number 85, Trey Seymour, who's going to be out there at that tight end position. So he's one guy who's standing at 6'5", and he has a quick 40. So if he's able to burst off the line quickly here, the ball may be going to him, and it's going to be a quarterback keep. And Artie Bryan is going to be the first one in the backfield for the Greyhounds, and he's going to get a tackle for loss. So a 4th and 13, 4th and 11, is what the Panthers are going to be looking at now.
And I'm really confused by what the strategy is here. I mean, you run the ball on 3rd and 12, and then you go for it?
It does not make sense, but you're going for it here. You do not trust your kicker at all. That really just shows that the coach for the Panthers, a first-season coach, and I believe Brandon Love, he is not having any trust in his kicker in the special teams at all.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but the only way you run the ball there is if you want to kick the ball. And now they pass.
Coyer keeps it for himself, breaks away from the pocket, and it's going to be pushed out of bounds, so the Panthers cannot pick it up here, but a flag is on the field as it could be hands to the face from the Greyhounds. Holding by the Panthers, so it's going to be declined by the Greyhounds, and the offense for the Greyhounds are going to be seeing their first action all night, as so far in a 12-minute quarter, 8 minutes was taken away with 4 minutes and 19 seconds left to play here. The Greyhounds looking to attack quickly as they take over at the 20-yard line in their own territory.
And outside of a blowout, I think that's the first time I've ever watched a football game for 8 minutes, even in Madden, watch a football game for 8 minutes and not see the ball get thrown.
To me, it really feels like you're seeing the New York Giants on the other side just 2 years ago, where you couldn't really trust your quarterback in Daniel Jones to make any throws, and all you had to do was rely on him to make plays on his legs. And that's what Heath Kaiser has put in the situation on the other side for the Panthers, as Anthony Corner is going to be taking the snap. First pass is going to go over to Rogers. Screen pass, has a block from base, loses the ball, and the Panthers recover it once easily, as Rogers is going to fumble it, and the Panthers are going to just recover it basically where they left off. Wow.
Recovered by the Panthers.
The tables have turned, Dashuan.
Casey, I feel like every time we're up in the booth here, it's just a crazy game.
I would agree with you. I feel like every game that you and I call, something crazy happens, and it's really remarkable to see that too, because you're just seeing advantage after advantage slip away from the Greyhounds almost in every single game. It feels like they have the other team on their heels, and just like that, the momentum's going to flip to the other opponent that they are going up against. But Rogers with the fumble, and the Panthers recover it at the 29-yard line, so Kaiser's going to come back out here now. Kaiser takes the snap, hands it off once again, so a quick few pickups for the Panthers as Perryman takes it up just a few yards past the 29.
So the Panthers, as I'm going to say probably 1,000 times in this game, are only going to run the ball, except in some very obscene situations, because I guess that's all they can do. I mean, we were looking before. Obviously, Kaiser had more carries and passes completed, but I haven't watched any North Central this year. I didn't think it was this extreme, such an extreme reliance on the run game. Very interesting.
It is interesting, but if you can't trust the arm of your quarterback, you have to trust the legs. And Kaiser now looking for his second pass of the game. Pocket breaks down quickly as he's rolling out right and tries to pick up the first down with his legs, but is going to be stopped short. 3 yards short of the first round, so a 3rd and 3 left to go for the Panthers. Now, you did say that this could be a 25-yard line, could be the special teams coming out and possibly attempting a field goal, but Panthers were put in this situation not that long ago, and they didn't even trust their special teams to come out.
Very, very true. And I'm not excited to see what North Central is going to do anymore, because we know they're going to run the ball. I'm excited to see how Carmel adjusts to this, because as of right now, it's kind of working.
As Kaiser now takes the snap, hands off over to Perryman, and he's going to try and pick up the first down, but is going to be short, as that's going to bring up 4th down. And if you're a Panthers fan, I think your offense just is staying out there.
It definitely is. I mean, they are not moving, and they're probably just going to run the ball again. And if it's not broken, don't fix it. But last drive, it didn't work, so it is broken.
And if you're putting this in perspective, almost 50 yards rushing just in the first quarter from the Panthers and 45 yards in total. So if you're really looking for that, you may be on pace for 180 yards rushing in the entire game. And that's really just wearing down the clock, and that might be the game plan for the Panthers. If you can wear down the clock, you can really force the Greyhounds defense to be sluggish and take that in advantage.
Very, 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 very true. But to me, this is almost as like a sign of defeat. Like, you want to chew off as much clock as you want and keep the score as close as possible. Because I've never seen, especially a high school game like this, where, I mean, you're already 0-5. Respectfully, the stakes are pretty low. You don't have much to lose, and you're still only running the ball. It's very interesting.
It is interesting, and you've only seen one pass that's been completed. Every other pass, the pocket breaks down, and Kaiser has to use his legs to try and pick up any yards that he can. So it's really the offensive line may be the issue for the Panthers. Kaiser has shown that he can throw the ball. He does have 4 passing touchdowns on the season with only 1 interception, but the completion percentage is below 50%, while on the other side of the ball for the Greyhounds, Anthony Koner has an above 68% completion percentage, and that's a big gap between these two quarterbacks, one being a senior in Kaiser, while one just being a sophomore in Koner. The skill gap is going to be shown tonight, and we've already seen it with only one pass play from the Greyhounds, which went 9 yards, but Rogers just really fumbled the ball, could not hold on to it while he was taken to the ground, which set up where the Panthers are now.
Yeah, unfortunate fumble, but here's 4th down for the Panthers.
Kaiser sends a V over. Looks for the pass. Short pass, going to be taken in. And once again, tackle for loss from the Greyhounds as they are going to just swallow up everyone, as Sailors is going to be the first one there, and that's going to bring the offense once again.
And I feel like we're on a carousel. I mean, we've already seen this before. The exact same thing happened on 2 drives. Let's hope Carmel doesn't fumble the ball again.
And if you're a Carmel fan, you're really just trusting the hands of every single player out there. And the first play was get the ball into your playmaker's hands. Rogers picking up 9 yards, but fumbling the ball, could not hold on to it. So Koner might be using more of his running backs in tonight's game, as Al-Fayed is going to be in the backfield. Handoff to Al-Fayed, has a big hole, has a chance to go free as he's at the 40. It is going to be dragged down past the 50-yard line. Al-Fayed already showing what he can do on homecoming night.
Yeah, this is what he does. You know, last year he was the team's leader in rushing yards. He's showing you here early tonight that he can run the football.
And like you said, showing what he can do, running the football. First down for the Greyhounds as a remarkable pickup of over 20 yards. So an over 20-yard rush is Al-Fayed's going to stay out there. Pollard's going to be motioned over to left, 2 to the left of Koner. Handoff once again to Al-Fayed, has space once again, has a block, and is going to be picking up a flag. It could be targeting against the Panthers.
That definitely looked like targeting.
As he is crawling off the field, not anything you want to see as a Greyhound fan.
That hit was dirty. That was an awful hit. He led with the crown of his helmet when he was already down. That's just disrespect. You don't do that.
And it looks to be a holding call against the Greyhounds.
Penalty against the Greyhounds.
That's an awful call. I'm sorry. I don't like hating on refs, but seeing a dirty hit like that and then you call a hold, I don't like that.
And that's nothing good to see. Al-Fayed coming off of injury after week 2 and now feels like he just had an upper head injury, as really the crown of the helmet from the Panthers player just landed right into him and he had to crawl off the field. Nothing good to see as a Greyhound fan.
Yeah, that didn't look good at all, and I'm really confused as to why the refs didn't hurt that. You know, I'm praying for Al-Fayed and hoping he gets better. Obviously, that's the #1 priority, but that's unbelievable.
That is, but Norval Tucker, the senior who splits carries with Al-Fayed, is going to come into the game, as Colin Johnson is going to be right under him if Tucker goes out with a possible injury. But like you said, a dirty play. Panthers are going to be only rushing 4 here.
1st and 8.
It looks to possibly be the same play that the Greyhounds ran once again. Tucker's going to be switched over to the left, and it's going to be a flag on the play. Once again, neutral zone infraction by the defense.
Offsides against the Panthers.
That's going to be a 5-yard penalty, so the ball is going to just be advancing 5 yards from the last spot.
And we're watching from the sideline. Al-Fayed is now walking to the tent. He's walking, which is good. You know, as you said before, it didn't look too good when he crawled off the field, but hopefully he'll come out of the tent and come back into this game.
Corner motions Pollard to his right. Tucker in the backfield, takes a snap, handoff to Tucker, has a massive hole, looks to break away at the 20, at the 10, and stumbles just a few yards away from the end zone as he is frustrated with himself. Could have put the first score up on the game for the Greyhounds, but this is really where you just hand it off to your big guy, number 85, Ozzie Pollard, and let him stat pat as he has 5 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah, I think you meant to say let him cook. You know, the Ozzie Pollard goal line play is the special. We've seen it over and over and over again. And as I like to say, if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Like you said, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. But Lewis Delby is going to come into the game for the Greyhounds, be an extra blocker. Tucker is going to take it, and the first score for the Greyhounds is in as Norval Tucker finally gets his first touchdown of the season here on homecoming night, which gives the Greyhounds a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, and Norval's been looking for that touchdown all year. I like that the Greyhounds decided to give him the ball as he was just a few yards short on that great carry. And, you know, both these teams looking to run the ball here, but one of them is obviously doing it a lot better.
Like you said, and that's the offensive line skill gap that we've seen. Offensive line for the Greyhounds has been remarkable, opening just any field for their running backs as the kick is good from Chris Murthy. And that's a 7-0 lead for the Greyhounds as the defense for the Greyhounds is going to come out after this kickoff. But with the first quarter almost coming to an end with 59 seconds left to go, Dashuan, Greyhounds defense may be a little sluggish as they've almost been out there the entire game, but their offense has struck first, throwing the first punch in tonight's game.
Very, very true. And although they may be a little tired early in this game, they showed what they're here to do, and that's stop these Panthers. You know, the Panthers had the ball around the 20, 30-yard line twice, and they couldn't even get 3 points up. So I don't think Carmel's too worried, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And they just showed you that after that early fumble, you shouldn't be worried about the offensive side of the ball either.
And like you said, but this North Central Panthers team was able to move the ball down the field just very early the start of the first quarter and relying on the legs of their quarterback and Kaiser to make plays. And really, you're splitting carries between Jimmel Perryman and Jalen Hill, two running backs. We haven't seen much pass action as we've only seen two passes, one to Joaquim Wells, which was caught for a 6-yard gain, and then a loss from the passing, just a 1-yard loss. Eli Thompson caught the ball and could not make anything happen. So you're really seeing the Panthers put the ball in their playmakers' hands and force them to make something happen. But the defense for the Greyhounds are able to fly around and really seek where the ball is and get tackles quickly. As Chris Ramuth's going to line up for the kick. Just a junior kicker. One of the top in the nation, top 100. And it's going to be a short kick once again. Same place where he kicked it. Great directional kicking. Wells is going to take it. And it's just going to be a few yards gained as this special teams is really able to fly around and get tackles quickly.
And I wonder if that's intentional because, as you know, he's a great kicker, and they're pretty much going to get the ball at the exact same spot. So I'm wondering if Carmel's doing this on purpose, you know, just a little squib kick to prevent any big plays, because as in the last game, Lawrence North was able to return the ball all the way down to about the 20-yard line, so we don't want to see that, especially early in this game.
And that really almost set up the Lawrence North Wildcats to win the game. A clutch pass breakup from Jabril Randolph to set up the Greyhounds' blocked field goal to win the game. But just like that, Perryman's going to fall to the ground and not being able as he trips up on his own feet. So that's going to set up second down for the Panthers.
Second down coming up. What do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to run or pass?
I will put money on it that they are going to run the ball. I was about to say pass there, but I believe that it might be a designed run, as every time that we've seen number 80, Demetrius Avi, come out to the field, it seems to be he goes out to the right side of the field, and then Kaiser is really forced to make runs on his own. Looks to his right. Pocket breaks down, but it's going to be swatted down by Artie Bryant as he's able to put his hand in the passing lane.
And I'm surprised that was a pass play here, and it actually looked like he was looking towards the field, actually trying to throw a pass. So maybe they've decided that they need to switch it up a little bit, you know, if they want to win this game, especially because Carmel's run defense is really starting to heat up now.
And it's really the looks that the defense is showing to the quarterback. If the defense is able to confuse what they are bringing, if they look like they're bringing four but drop one back into coverage, that may throw Kaiser's decisions off. And that's what it looked to be as Bryant was kind of thrown off, but Kaiser's going to roll out to his right. Looked like a design run. It's going to be passed down quickly, and just like that, the Panthers are able to pick up yards and force out of bounds as Joaquim Wells is going to pick up the first down for the Panthers, cross the 50 and in Greyhound territory.
And this is what makes Kaiser such a special player. Even though it wasn't a designed run play, that play still revolved around him because he went into motion immediately, drawing all the attention from the Carmel defense, able to free up some space for his receivers. Then all he has to do is make that pass.
And with only 9 seconds left here to play, in the first quarter. My guess is that you're really just looking to pick up a few yards here and let the clock run out. Really rely on Perryman to run the ball as he does. Picks it up, tries to run up the middle of the gut and picks up just, I believe, 4 or 5 yards on that. So as the quarter is going to come to an end, 7-0 lead for the Greyhounds. Dashuan, what do the Panthers need to do as they have already entered Greyhound territory to score a touchdown here?
What I think they need to do, they need to mix up the plays. You know, I really like that motion play from Kaiser where he immediately ran to the right side, you know, getting out of the pocket, and that really allows him to use his abilities physically as sort of a playmaking quarterback, similar to a Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson type of thing, where you just let him move, still let him pass the ball, obviously, and those are the type of plays that the Panthers can run. I like that they're branching out a little bit more just from dumping the ball off to the running back or just running some sort of QB run.
And if you look at the total yardage throughout the entire game already in the first quarter, 22 passing yards from the Panthers and 49 rushing yards. And we were saying that the Panthers don't really pass the ball much. That's only the third completion, 22 yards. While on the other side for the Greyhounds, 9 passing yards. They have not trusted Corner to throw the ball after the Rogers fumble. And after that, they've been relying more on the rush game. And if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Very, very true. And I don't think it's a lack of trust. I think it's just how good your offensive line is and how not good their defensive line is. You know, you can just run that ball. If you can just run that ball on them and bully them and have a safer option, why not?
And like you said, if you can just run the ball on them, you may as well do it. But we hope that Elijah Al-Fayed, who did go down with injury in the first quarter, is possibly coming out back onto the field, hopefully in this game, as it is homecoming night for the Greyhounds. They are seeking their 50th win all time in 55 years. As Perryman's going to keep it, bounces out to the right, and is going to be stopped quickly by Bryant as he was the first one to take him down.
He was met by Addy there. Such a strong tackler, elite player for this Carmel defense.
And just look at the size difference between each team. As I was looking at Bryant standing up against big number 77 offensive tackle Orlando Thompson, they are the same height, but Bryant is just a much quicker player. If you really compare Artie's size and ability to everyone on this field, he might be one of the most athletic players out there.
Yeah, outside of Christian Peterson and maybe Kaiser, he's definitely up there.
Kaiser fakes right and throws left. Once again, over to his wide receiver. Tries to pick up a few yards, as that's Eli Thompson, who's going to be short of the first down just by a few yards.
Yeah, and, you know, like I said before, obviously this team likes to run the ball, but I like that they're passing now because your quarterback isn't going to be able to just pass the ball effectively if you don't let him pass the ball. You know, obviously we have practice, but even when you're in a game, those are still practice reps. They're still practicing the plays. So you've got to let him run the ball. And here's the Panthers lining up for a QB sneak.
And Kaiser's going to be able to pick up the first down, as every single fourth down that they have decided to go for it, they've almost picked it up except for, I believe, 2. They've not been able to pick up 2 fourth downs out of the 4 that they have faced. But their third down conversion really tries have not been the best either, just dipping under 50% as well. So staying at that 50% completion for going on fourth down is something to look at too. This team is not afraid of what could happen if they don't pick it up.
Very true, and not just about what it picks it up, but putting Kaiser in a pile of big bodies like that is risky. If he gets hurt, this offense is nearly dormant.
As just like that, Perryman bounces out to the left side of the field and picks up 8 yards on a quick run. Looked to be a counter play as the Panthers are marching down the field quickly.
Panthers are going to line up for a 2nd and 2 here, and this is where I'd like for them to pass the ball. You know, they're pretty good at third and fourth down conversions running the ball, so this is when you want to take that slight risk, pass the ball, and try to get into the end zone.
And you're seeing the new running back, Jalen Hill, come into the game as it's going to be a bunch set to the right, fakes the handoff, and just like that, Ojota for the Greyhounds is going to be wrapping up Kaiser quickly and brings him to the ground. So it's going to be third down the Panthers are facing. And really, you already know the Panthers are going to go for it if they don't pick it up here.
Very
so
true.
You have 2 more downs to really advance the ball. As Kaiser only picks up 1 yard, so it's going to be a 3rd and 2. But already the clock as the Panthers have taken away 3 minutes from the clock. 7-0 is the score as the Greyhounds defense is out there on the field for what it feels like already an entire quarter. Single back formation. Kaiser rolls out to the right, tries to pick it up as Ojota tries to track him down and brings him down as that's going to be a horse collar, grabs the nameplate and drags him down as Ojota knows that he messed up on that play.
Yeah, definitely an illegal tackle there. But Kaiser is a fast dude. And I think for Carmel, you may want to run a zone just so you have guys there. When you have guys in man, they're sort of running like a 4 verticals here, the Panthers are, just getting dudes out of Kaiser's way. So, players like CP and E aren't there to make the tackles. But if you run a zone, the players are almost stationary, so you can't break out there and make those big plays.
As the ball is going to be advancing just a few yards into Greyhounds territory. And this is where the Panthers could wake up their offense and really switch momentum and shift it to their side as it's going to be placed at the 18-yard line as it's an automatic first down. And you already know the Panthers are going to go on fourth down if they don't pick up enough yards here.
Very, very true. And I'm really wondering what they're going to do here because the playbook has really been opening up, especially from the first quarter.
Perriman takes it, flips it now over to Wells. And Wells is going to be stopped quickly by the Greyhounds defense, not able to pick up enough yardage as it's just going to be a gain of 1. So 2nd and 9 is what the Panthers are facing.
2nd and 9 from the 13-yard line.
With just 8 minutes left in the half, the Hounds only having 7 points. That's pretty impressive for the Panthers, considering the least amount of points they've given up to an opponent so far is 35 points.
But it's really about the time possession, too, as the Panthers have held on to the ball what it feels like the entire game. The Greyhounds defense was really able to wake up quickly as they only took less than 3 minutes to score the ball and get downfield with I believe, a 2-yard touchdown run by Norval Tucker, who was able to get the first points on the board. And since then, the defense for the Greyhounds is just making mistake after mistake, back-to-back flags with a horse collar and then an offsides call. You're just giving the Panthers pretty much a free touchdown here.
I wouldn't say free touchdown, but the way that running game and how often they're calling the run and Carmel's inability to stop it, they've stopped it because they haven't scored, but it's still very efficient.
Perriman's going to try and bounce it up, and he's just going to be stopped once again by the strong front 4 of the Greyhounds. There's a lot of substitutions throughout this entire game, as that's going to be Will Macy running off the field, just a sophomore. And Brian is going to check back into the game. 3rd and 4 to go. Ball's on the 8-yard. As Dashuan, I feel like me and the PA guy are almost synced here, saying exactly what I'm saying, and he's saying it right after me.
Yep, you guys are on the same wavelength, I guess.
We are. As Perriman's in the backfield, Kaiser takes the snap, looks to pass, rolls out right, and it's going to be shoved to the ground as the ball is going to be incomplete. He was looking for a but Greyhounds were swarming him quickly as the pocket just broke down.
And now it's 4th and 4. We don't know what they're going to do here, but if I got to put my money on it, I'm going to say some sort of inside run. It's too far to go for a QB sneak, and we've seen in these situations where it's 4th and short to medium, they really like these inside run plays, so keep an eye out for that.
They do, but they are keeping Perriman in the backfield. 2 to the left, 2 to the right of Kaiser. 4th and 4 to go as they're trying to draw the Greyhounds offsides. They know Bryant is looking to blitz. Marsh and Bryant come up to the box, and it's going to be a timeout called from the Panthers as they're just really looking to draw up a play here to get the Greyhounds confused on defense.
Yeah, and it looks like they were just trying to bait the offsides, pick up another first down, but way to go by Carmel, staying disciplined. And let's see if they bring out the kicking squad. I don't think they will. I did see them make a field goal from this range in warm-up, so it's definitely possible.
And if you want to play it safe, you do go for the field goal here, put some points up on the board. But the Greyhounds do get the ball to start the second half. And you already saw that their defense was able to march down the field in under 3 minutes and score a touchdown. And so far, the Panthers team is able to get the ball in Greyhound territory. But since almost every time they get the ball there, they're not able to make something happen. So the momentum is still on the Greyhounds' side. But if the Panthers score here, I would feel like the tables turn and the Panthers are really looking to rely on their defense to make something happen.
And you've got to be kind of frustrated if you're on the offensive side of the ball for Carmel, because you've only hit the field pretty much one time in almost the whole entirety of the game, and the second quarter is almost done because obviously, you know, the early fumble. So you've got to be really frustrated, just not getting the opportunity to score.
And it looks like they're going to be running the motion play with Addy. Punch that to the right. Kaiser's looking for the touchdown in the back corner. And was that a catch? Oh.
Looks like he caught it, but it was out of play. Caught it out of bounds. Great defense by number 4E there.
That looked to be an Odell Beckham catch. If that was a catch, Dashuan, that would have been remarkable if that happened.
You know, if he made that catch, our call might have been on House of Highlights or Sports Center, because that was phenomenal.
You know, it could have been. I think I would probably flip your popcorn that's up here, probably flip that down, as that could have been a highlight play right there.
Very true.
And we have seen the Greyhounds actually make Sports Center, but for another game that they lost. But that is Jeremiah McClellan, who is a commit to Ohio State, who plays for Christian Brothers Cadets, as he was basically able to break away from 11 players of the Greyhounds of their entire defense. As Rogers is going to have it now off the sweep, takes it to the outside, has space up the sideline, and tries to truck the cornerback easily, as he's able to pick up the first down as he runs over pretty much almost every single player out there on defense for the North Central Panthers.
And what a redemption play from Rogers. You know, you had that early fumble, obviously not what you want, but that's how you make up for it with a great carry from Rogers there.
Ball's going to be at the 25. And really, this game could be compared to the Homestead game that the Greyhounds played just their first week of the season. Time possession was everything as the Homestead Spartans held the ball. Tucker's going to take it up, has space, bounces it outright. Or excuse me, this is Colin Johnson. Finds space and is able to run around 5 North Central Panthers and picks it up pretty much almost every single yardage that you need to get into the territory of the Panthers, as, like we said, split carries from 3 running backs, as Colin Johnson making an electrifying play once he hits the field.
Very true. And Colin Johnson, nicknamed Kojo, you know, he's been going through a lot of back injuries this season, but it didn't look like that right there. He just refused to go down. No one could take him down. He looked like Derrick Henry out there.
He did look like Derrick Henry. I would almost compare him to Kenneth Walker. Mm-hmm. That's the game style that I would compare him to, as he's kind of shifty but can also be a power back as well. Corner takes a snap, hand off over to Tucker, tries to find space, and he's going to be tripped up as he may be picking up the first down for the Greyhounds.
And I feel like the story of the season for Tucker so far is just everything has just been so close. You know, right there he had lots of green grass, but just that last second tackle from the Panthers was able to stop him from getting a big play.
The Greyhounds already hitting 90-plus rushing yards. Haven't even hit the end of the first half with 6:20 left to go. 7-0 is the score, 117 total yards for the Greyhounds. Corner looking to take the snap. Tucker stays in the backfield. As it's a bobbled snap from corner, has to pick up any yardage with his legs, and he does, breaks away, looks to truck, and he may have a touchdown, but it's going to be dragged down at, I believe, past the 5-yard line, at the 3-yard line in the Panthers territory. Dashuan, that's pretty magical.
I'm convinced that was a trick play. That was on purpose. I think that was intentional, Casey. That was too good. Just the reflexes by corner to immediately pick up the ball and just go.
And I would say that really looked like a senior type play. Just a sophomore out there on the field, able to pick up, pretty much make something out of nothing, as he's putting the Greyhounds already in the red zone, 3 yards to go, as this could already be out of hands for the Panthers.
Carmel lines up very quickly here.
And I believe a timeout is going to be called.
Timeout called by Carmel.
By the Greyhounds. So they're really looking to redraw this play, put something up. Now, if you're at homecoming, just wanted to have some fun, do you think they might?
Jude Bearden, please report to the press box. Jude Bearden, please report to the press box.
As The play is just looking to be drawn up down there. As really, Dashuan, I don't know what the Greyhounds could do. You could possibly throw in Christian Peterson there to have some fun.
I'm predicting the Philly special right here, right now.
We did call that together. That was an amazing play to call.
And this is the perfect place to run it.
It is homecoming. I think the entire crowd would go crazy if that was ran.
This is the most full I've seen this stadium, at least in the student section so far this year.
And that is great, but the north central side is looking packed, as that might be the most filled that we've seen. Corner with Johnson in the backfield. Hand off to Johnson, looking to pick up a touchdown of his own, as he's going to be taken down quickly. First one to get to him is Coyen Waters, as this Panthers defense is swarming. Knowing that the Greyhounds are looking to run the ball, they want to get in the backfield and they want to get in there quickly.
Very true. And although it is just 7-0, the Greyhounds could potentially make a 14-point swing here. They could score here, get the ball and back at the start of the second half, and score again. So this is a crucial possession of this game.
As Jake Bellin checked into the game, corner's going to roll out to his left and keep it and tosses it to Pollard, but just butterfingers as he drops it. We've seen that multiple times this season. Pollard having the ball in his hands, but just drops it in crucial moments.
Yeah, unfortunate drop here. Unfortunate drop there. What a play by Colner. He is really a true playmaker.
He is, but he's more of that fullback position when it comes into really these 5 yards away from the end zone. He's relied as that fullback. Just give him the ball and let him plow over everyone, as he stands at 6'5". He's a big guy to take down. Tucker in the backfield for the Greyhounds. Pollard motion left. Tucker takes the ball, tries to bounce it out left, but every single Panther is there to swarm Tucker, as the first one to get to him is number 16.
Tucker on the carry for the Greyhounds.
And immediately, without any hesitation, the special teams is coming on for Carmel. No overthinking this. Just take your 3 points, and also you get the ball after half. And I highly doubt the Panthers will be able to score. You know, it's obviously possible, but with only pretty much 4 minutes left getting the ball back, you're not going to be able to run the ball with that running clock and get down. You're going to have to throw some balls.
And as the Panthers are forcing a field goal attempt from the Greyhounds, as that is up and good, as Lucas Christopher, as this is his first game playing on the stage in the Carmel Greyhounds Stadium on homecoming night, as so far he's been playing quite well, as he is one of the top really kickers in the state of Indiana just as a junior, as he does have to sit behind Josh Plazchek, as Plazchek is injured, but Christopher is really looking that he could be a shining star for the Greyhounds in that kicking position in the future.
And it's not just the kicking position that has wild depth out here for the Greyhounds. You know, another position to mention with depth is the running back. You know, I had an interview in a press conference with one of the offensive coaches last year, sponsored by CHTV, and one thing he brought up a lot was next man up. You know, if someone comes down, you've got someone else to come back up and is prepared to take their role and position.
And you have depth at every single position. And we were talking about before the game even started, the safety position is the really big area that is struggling this season for the Greyhounds, with Hunter Snow and Dominic Shockley both out. Hunter Snow was leading the team in tackles before he went out with a lower body injury, and Dominic Shockley went out with a lower back injury. Both of those players made remarkable plays almost every single week. But since then, you're relying on 2 juniors who have not played at the varsity level at all until just last week, in Drew Cannon and Brandon Adams. Drew Cannon, like we said, had an amazing game with the interception and adding 8 tackles, as he really stepped into the light and shown that he is a strong player, and he's someone that you have to look at anytime you're watching film.
Very, very true. A strong electric player he is.
As Christian Mirth is going to line up to deliver this kick. 10-0 lead with 4:16 left to play here, just in the first half. This may be another squib kick like we've seen already. And it actually will be a long kick, taken in at the 5. Muffed, and this is the chance for the Greyhounds to have great field position, but just like that, rip tackle away, as Avi is able to take it up to the 21. as he is a remarkable star already. As anytime he's in the game, Dashuan, you see him in the motion to either the right or the left side of the field, and you really see Kaiser roll out and look to his right if he is there, but really roll out. So he's kind of that distraction player.
Very, very true. As you said before, he motions a lot, tries to get the defense guessing, and that opens up a lot of plays in the playbook.
As it looks to be an injury timeout there out on the field as a North Central Panther is down. Cannot tell who it is from up where we are, but Dashuan, that is not anything good to see.
Never something
as two injuries in this game already. One to Elijah Al-Fayed, who we have not seen come out back onto the bench side or even anywhere out there on the field, as I believe he hasn't even left the blue tent yet. So nothing good. He may be in concussion protocol. That may be my guess, because he was hit by the crown of the helmet by a North Central player and had to crawl off the field. But like you said, he was able to get up and walk off on his own. But nothing good to see, as he just came off injury a few weeks ago.
Very, very unfortunate, especially with how special of a player he is. Every single time he touches this field, it seems like he does something crazy. The last game we called that almost 20-yard carry off that beautiful spin move. He's such a strong electric player. Sad to see him go down like that.
And it's next man up every single time. So almost every single player is going to get a chance to play here. It is homecoming night. And you're really looking, if the score gets out of hand, the Greyhounds may be throwing in some of their kind of depth guys. We may be seeing Zach Trent, the backup quarterback, get a few reps in. We have seen him come into the game against Martin Luther King High School. And he was looking good. He did not throw the ball, but a few handoffs, as he has been playing in those JV games as a junior. Kaiser has the ball over to Perryman, bounces out left, and is not able to pick up a few yards as he is taken down. So it's going to be a 1-yard gain. So a 2nd and 9 coming up for the Panthers.
Just under 4 minutes left to go, so I'm really curious to see what the Panthers do here. Do you just sit down and run out this clock, or do you try to go score?
I would say you have to go and score. You're down 10. You need a touchdown. So far, we haven't seen your kicker come out to the field yet, and if you can't rely on your kicker to do much, then what do you have to do? You have to go for it on every single 4th down. As the pass play over to Thompson, a playmaker for the Panthers, as he runs into his own player in Seymour, and like we said, the safeties come up to play as Drew Cannon is able to get a fumble recovery, as that, I believe Thompson ran into his own player in Seymour and fumbled the ball.
Yep, and just like that, another turnover and another drive started already in the opposing territory. So Carmel can get another touchdown on the board. Got plenty of time. Great starting field position. The crowd's on your side. Momentum's on your side. Go get in the end zone.
As Corner comes back out, has Tucker in the backfield with him. 2 to the right, 1 to his left. Shotgun position. Tries to draw off sides, and he does, as that cadence is unstoppable. As almost every time he uses it, he's able to draw someone off sides.
Very useful tool here, and you may be able to hear the crowd saying you can't do that, and that's just what the homecoming crowd, home field advantage can do, sort of getting in the heads of these North Central players here early tonight.
And 117 rushing yards for the Greyhounds already in the first half. If they are able to double that, they could pick up their best rushing performance all year. Corner has Tucker in the backfield. Takes the snap. Keeps it over to Rogers, looking for him to create something, as he tries to do. And it's going to be taken down, thrown to the ground, but picks up just 2 yards. As he's going to be as the Greyhounds are going to be facing a 2nd and 3.
For the Panthers. Gain of 2 on the play, 2nd and 3 from the 20-yard line.
And here is 2nd and 3 from the 20-yard line. If you're the Greyhounds here, you can do whatever you want. You can run the ball. You have a good chance of converting it. But you can also pass the ball because you've still got a 3rd down. And even if you don't get the first, you can still hit the field goal and go up 2 possessions.
As it looks like the Panthers are going to commit to rushing. And Tucker's just going to be hit below his legs and not able to pick up the 1st down. So 3rd and 1 is what the Greyhounds are facing. You're not that far off. of a touchdown, you're in the red zone.
It looks like they're going to stay onto the field, maybe try to draw an offsides. Oh, sorry. It's only third down.
It is third down, Dashuan, not fourth down. You're thinking in the future. There you go. Like you do. You do typically predict things that happen, and most of the time they do.
Third and 1 from the
We'll see if I'm right.
We'll see as corner's in shotgun. Takes it himself, pitches it over to Tucker. Tucker has a chance for the touchdown, and he gets a second one on the night, as that's an 18-yard touchdown for Norval Tucker.
And what a play call that was. I was certain that Colner was going to keep that to himself, just get the first down and dive down, and then he throws sort of one of those Patrick Mahomes special pitches to Tucker, and he just explodes, hits that next gear, and Carmel's able to get in for another touchdown.
And there's more of the quarterback option play where you try and take it as the quarterback by yourself. And if you're reading the linebackers, if they're coming onto you, you pitch it out to your running back who's available to get it and take it to the house. And we saw that just really lined up perfectly. And I feel like, I believe it's NCAA 14, right? The college football game, where that's kind of the main play that you have to run to really pick up any yards. So, you know, that could be the playbook tonight, as they may be taking that into consideration.
Maybe, and I really like how Carmel's branding out their playbook a little bit more. You know, we saw the Philly special. You know, you see a lot of jet sweeps, and unfortunately, I believe
Al-Fayed does have a cast around his right leg on crutches, as that could possibly be a season-ending injury.
That is very unfortunate to see.
As Norval Tucker, Zach Trent, and Anthony Colner, pretty much the entire offense is coming over to check on one of their star players, and Al-Fayed, as this season has just not gone right for him.
That is so sad to see, especially because of how such a dirty hit that was. You really don't like to see that.
You don't, but that's just unfortunate. He is a star player, and it's sad to watch someone with that much skill really faced with injuries this entire season, only able to play in 3 games. But when he touches the field, Sean, he is probably the #1 guy that you have to circle to stop.
Very, very true. Just a true dynamic rushing threat. I'm hoping to see him on the field soon.
And
get well soon.
If you're the offense for the Greyhounds, you have to just be happy for Norval Tucker. 2 touchdowns on homecoming as a senior. The 2 touchdowns all season that he has collected have been in this game. And he could possibly go for the hat trick and go for 3. You're already in the first half, 137 rushing yards as a team. And that's really what they could do throughout this entire game. As Christopher kicks it off, received at the 4-yard line. Goes backwards, but bounces out to his left, as Avi is going to be taken down at the 19-yard line to set up the Panthers with their possible last drive of the first half. 1:48 left to go. This is your 2-minute crunch time.
And Avi is sort of like, respectfully, a Bugatti sitting in a junkyard. I mean, the stuff that this kid does just for them to set the ball up on the 18-yard line. What a play that was. He broke at least like 12 tackles right there. What a play, but unfortunately that only brings him up to the 18-yard line.
Now let me ask you this. How many Bugattis do you see in a junkyard?
You know, I saw a picture of one the other day. That's where the inspiration came from.
So he's more of a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
There you go. So a gem.
I guess I could have said that.
There you go. But I do like it. Bugatti. As guys are going to look for the pass. And like you said, there's your Bugatti as he's able to take it in and pick up 4 yards. So 2nd and 6 is coming up for the Panthers.
Oh, no, you do not want to see this. Christian Peterson looks hurt.
That is not good at all for the Greyhounds, as already their depth at the cornerback position has really been a struggle throughout the entire season, moving E. Battelle to corner from wide receiver. Christian Peterson, the IU commit, playing in the Big Ten next year. That is nothing that you want to see as a Greyhound fan.
And he has had such a strong impact on this Greyhounds team all season. That is the last thing you want to see.
2 star players could be out. Elijah Al-Fayed already out, and Christian Peterson down on the ground as he's able to get up. The wind may have just been blown out of him, but with a 17-0 lead, he might not be seeing any more action, as you want to rest your top player for your defense.
Very true. And unfortunately, I may have been mistaken, but it did look like he was grabbing at his leg. He looks to be walking pretty well. I'm praying that he gets better soon.
And send your prayers to Christian Peterson as he is limping on his right leg, not able to put much weight on that. I thought maybe, my guess is could be either a calf or ankle injury, as you cannot put much weight on that ankle. But he's able to almost walk it off. They may just wrap it up and let him sit the rest of the game, but he is the top corner and a top player for this Greyhounds defense.
Good sign, though. He is going back to the locker room.
And it's a fake pass over to Addy as he's able to pick up a few yards. Excuse me, more than just a few, but moves the chains into Greyhound territory.
And what a play that was. Going back to your playmakers. That's what you got to do when you're in a situation like this, when you need to put points on the board.
And just like that, the Panthers already in Greyhound territory. A fake pass from Kaiser throws it over to Thompson, who was able to zip it down the field and push into, as Kaiser, it's another flag on the play. As personal foul, face mask against the defense. That could just be in frustration too.
Very, very true. And another thing I want to mention, now that Christian Peterson is no longer on the field, the Panthers may be a little bit more comfortable throwing the ball. Obviously, that's Carmel's probably their best defensive player, certainly their best player in the secondary. So we might see the ball be thrown a lot more from the Panthers tonight.
And Caden Bauer checks back into the game, just a sophomore, but is going to be splitting reps with Uchenyu Ajota. Both of those players have really made an impact. Uchenyu being really a star player on defense, a blocked punt for a touchdown and 2 sacks, as if he can get in the backfield, he will wreak havoc. And Caden Bauer, who has not played a game yet this season, this is his first game coming back off of injury, and so far he's been in the backfield and collecting tackles like he's just collecting change off the ground. Kaiser goes for the deep shot, and it is banked by Ibatau! If he just sits in the end zone, the Greyhounds are going to be taking the ball at the 20-yard line. Second interception for Ibatau.
And that is his second interception. Mind you guys, he was the wide receiver 1 at the beginning of the season. This isn't even his natural position. He may have one of those common situations in the NFL where wide receivers turn to corners or corners turn to receivers, because he is shining at this position.
He is, and just the second interception, his hands were just able to put them around the ball so perfectly and just take it in, really read the route. And as the former wide receiver, able to read the route as a corner now and just jump it and really get the ball and set the Greyhounds up. Just under a minute, they got to go down the field with only 2 timeouts, as they did call one earlier.
Let's see what Carmel goes to, given the situation here.
Corner looks for the pass. Over to Johnson. Johnson is going to stumble by himself on his own feet and only picks up a few, as the timeout's going to be called by the Greyhounds. They were really hoping that he could get out of bounds and stop the clock and not waste a timeout.
You know, that turf can be a little slippery at times. Looks like just the case. I was hoping he wasn't hurt, but it looks like he just slipped there.
And we haven't seen much passing out of the Greyhounds, but with under really a minute left to play here in the first half, you're relying on your quarterback to make the right reads. He had Rodgers with the drag route, but he looked over for a safe option, really read all the reads that were out there, looked at all the wide receivers, and then went to his safe option in the running back and picked up a few yards, as the Greyhounds are going to be up now at the 26-yard line.
And, you know, yeah, he obviously could have hit that drag. Rodgers was pretty open, definitely could have made the pass there. But what I want to mention, he probably wanted to hit that pass on the outside to get, to get out of bounds and stop the clock.
46 seconds left here to play. Mace is going to be motioned over to the left side. Corner looks to his right. Looks for Johnson and is not able to keep his feet in, as that's going to be an incomplete pass. So it's going to be a second down for the Greyhounds.
But that's what you want to see Carmel doing here with just 40 seconds left. You got to throw the ball. That was a great pass, just a couple inches too strong.
So second down and 10, 40 seconds left here to play. Before you go into halftime, Dashuan, the Greyhounds are looking to really make an explosive play here and get into field goal territory.
I mean, that's all you can do. The Panthers are obviously trying to prevent that, but let's see what Carmel can do here on 2nd and 10.
Corner drops back, goes to the safe option, and Rogers needs to get out of bounds to stop the clock. The clock's going to run, and there's a flag out there on the play. So you're really saved with no timeout, so it's a flag. It could be unnecessary roughness, but it's against the Greyhounds. So ball is going to be pushed back, so that gain is just not even going to count.
That's very strange. That, to me, looked like another illegal hit. I mean, Rogers was already going down. He got crushed. That's the second time I think the refs may have missed that call.
Like you said, a 1st and 10, 17-0, 35 seconds left to go. Greyhounds need to make something happen with these last few seconds left before they go into halftime. Only a 17-point lead, something that's unusual. Dashuan, I had the Greyhounds possibly putting up 35 points in this game and shutting out the Panthers, but it could look to be something different, as so far their offense has been explosive, but not explosive enough.
Very, very true, but let's see what they can do with just 35 seconds, backed up all the way pretty much to the goal line.
Corner shakes off Mace and tries to get it over to his favorite target, and Bellin, who is the red zone target. 24 seconds as the clock dips under, and the Greyhounds are going to be using one of their final timeouts to stop the clock with 23 seconds left to play.
And it is now 4th down.
Number 26, Jacob Bellin.
They vouched to go for the timeout, and I'm really confused as to why they did that. They could have let the clock run because obviously they're going to punt the ball here.
I could be wrong, but I believe the Panthers actually called a timeout to really save just that last 23 seconds. You're waiting for a punt here, and if you can set your guys up into great field territory, you can really put something together. You almost had a touchdown. Just the Greyhounds defense, turnovers have been their specialty. They were able to force turnovers, as like our host earlier talked about, 7 interceptions, adding just one more, 8 interceptions now on the season for this defense. Won a game, basically. And that's something to look at. If your team's able to first force turnovers, the other team is going to be in shambles.
Very, very true. And that was one of the keys of the games we talked about, forcing turnovers and not turning the ball over. Fortunately, Carmel did turn the ball over early in the game, but since then, they've been perfect when it comes to protecting the ball.
And this is the first punt for the Greyhounds all game, which is surprising. End of the second quarter. Looks for a big punt, and that's going to be booted all the way. Takes a Greyhound bounce, and it's going to be stopped. And the Panthers almost in good position, but 11 seconds left here to play for both teams before you go into halftime. Dashuan, if you're a Panther, you may just kneel it and go into halftime knowing that you got to pick it up coming out of that.
Very, very true. You could kneel it. You do want to be careful passing the ball. You know, Carmel has multiple pick six on the season, although multiple of them have come from Christian Peterson, who is not on the field right now.
And Christian Peterson, like you mentioned, not on the field, an interception by Battelle, but you're really more of, if you're a Panther, you may just try and get it in your hands of your playmakers, force them to make something happen. You have one timeout left to go with just 12 seconds left to play. Kaiser motions over Ravi, takes it for him, looks for space, has a chance, and that may be a flag, but no face mask is going to be called.
Number 80,
5 seconds left to play.
Of the Curie.
And that's your Bugatti. Number 80, Avery. Now Dashuan, 5 seconds left to play. What are you thinking you're running if you're a Panther? Do you go really more just for have some fun, throw it out there, or do you really just...
I would just chuck the ball up. I mean, there's not much more you can do. The ball will probably get batted down or an interception, but there is just that slight chance that you do get the touchdown. I do think the risk is a little bit smaller than the reward here, so I would go for the throw. But, you know, a lot of coaches like to just run the ball out, clock out as they did here.
Well, it's more of a, as clock is going to run out, And the Greyhounds do lead 17-0. And Dashuan, I would really say the run game is the main difference maker here. 137 run yards for the Greyhounds compared to the 63 from the Panthers. And going into halftime, both teams need to make adjustments as the Greyhounds do lose their star cornerback in Christian Peterson and their star running back in Elijah Al-Fayed. They need to really let the next guy step up, and we saw Ibatel step up.
Very true. He did step up after that unfortunate injury from Christian Peterson. And speaking of stepping up, here comes the Carmel Marching Band. We're going to take it to them, and then we're going to head down to the field to talk to Noah and Gigi.
Marching band this year. I'm running for the student section, so watch out for me during football games.
I'm Owen. I'm one of the other drum majors. I'm over in front of the parents.
Hello, Greyhounds. My name is Devin Sapper, and I'm one of the drum majors for the Carmel High School. Hello, Greyhounds. My name is Devin Sapper, and I'm one of the drum majors for the Carmel High School Marching Band this year. I'm running for the student section, so watch out for me during football games.
I'm Owen. I'm one of the other drum majors. I'm over in front of the parents on the right side of the field. This year's show is based on Leonard Bernstein's First Symphony, Jeremiah. It's based around the idea of the cycle of destruction and creation and the Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail.
You're going to see darker themes with us this year. Our guard is going to have plague masks on. I think it's a really interesting show. We've already competed once. We were at Brownsburg Invitational on September 9th. We swept all captions and walked away with a score of 81.8. We're all very, very proud.
The show will feature the first, second, and third movement. We have many more competitions left in the season. We've already spent about 3 months working on the show so far at the time of recording. We have Louisville BOA Bands of America Regional on September 22nd. Then we have ISMA Regionals, Semi-State, State, and of course the big ultimate goal is Grand Nationals on November 11th.
Yeah, so we're all really looking forward to it. Personally, our jobs are pretty much just, we're not on the field, but we are giving time for the band. We are conducting for them, making sure that everyone is in time and clear on what we're doing. It's a lot of leadership. I joke that we are the TAs for our band directors, especially during the summer, because we've been working on this since early June. Essentially, once school ends, we are right at it for about 9 hours a day.
Late May, but yeah.
Late.
So you might be watching the show right now and you might be noticing a few things and might be wondering what's going on. If you notice, there's a lot of triangles going on, and that's because we're focusing on the all-seeing eye that you've probably seen in the Illuminati. Not the same thing, but from that same idea of the all-seeing eye, there's a lot of triangles and a lot of pyramids going on throughout the show. You also might be noticing that a lot of the forms have the marchers following each other like a snake. And again, that plays into the whole Ouroboros, snake eating its own tail kind of cyclical idea and motif that repeats throughout the show.
We're starting again after a really successful season last year. We are now the reigning state champions, and as also the reigning national champions.
6-time state
6-time
and national champions.
Yeah, we have been doing very, very well. Last year was very successful. We were all very proud of everyone that performed and competed. So now we're just trying to keep the momentum going. Now the comp season is in full swing, just really keeping going. It's a lot of work, but it's what we do all the time.
Long days, hot hours, but come November 11th, I believe, Veterans Day, it'll all be worth it.
It will. This year, we are really lucky to have This year, we are really lucky to have numerous performers performing on the sidelines as soloists and as part of small groups that we have. in the first movement, we have a woodwind
Quintet, I believe.
sextet.
What is it? We have...
There's 6 of them.
Piccolo, flute, clarinet,
bass clarinet,
English horn,
and oboe.
It's
all very interesting. Sounds
yeah.
really good. And that is our first movement in our show. And then the second movement, we start off immediately with
a saxophone quintet with a soprano, 2 altos, a tenor, and a bari. All very talented players, first movement included.
Yeah, we're really lucky to have all these players that are willing to be shown as really important.
To volunteer as tribute almost, just to put yourselves out there.
Yeah, and then in the third movement, which we have not performed yet for any of y'all, but is coming soon, we are going to have a flugelhorn solo.
And a trumpet solo performed by the same person.
Yeah, Karina Young.
Very impressive.
Very impressive. She performed for us last year as well. She's incredible.
Just amazing. All in all, we're very excited for the season that is to come and the successes that might entail. We hope you enjoyed the halftime show, and we're going to send you back to the host. Thank you.
Welcome back to the sideline. It is halftime, and what a first half it was. I'm Boudouris, still with Gigi, Welp, and Gigi 17-0, looking great for the Hounds so far.
Oh, absolutely. The North Central Panthers have not had very much offensive action. They did have one fumble recovery, but that was about one of the only positive things I saw. What about you, Noah?
Yeah, a lot of turnovers and a lot of third and fourth downs for both sides, but Carmel's offense is really coming to life in a way that we don't see very often, especially early in the game. Tucker, 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground, 1 in the air. Anthony Colner really getting comfortable, facing that pressure and being able to run and hold his own ground. So a lot of excitement for Carmel's offense right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see Anthony Colner nearly fumble a snap back there on Carmel's 10-yard line, but he just ran with it, and he nearly got a touchdown, but then he threw it right to Norval Tucker. That was still a fantastic moment for the Hounds. I was over there, student section was going crazy, and this homecoming environment is really something else, Noah.
Oh yeah, definitely, and a lot of small things have been done right by Carmel so far, especially the pick near the end by Ibaletti. That was massive, stopping the scoring drive by the Panthers and just reestablishing the offense. Even when it didn't lead to a score, it was still a massive play for the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the closest North Central has been to a score the entire night, and Ibaletti came through for Carmel, picked it right up. But another thing is that Carmel's lead rushing player, Elijah Al-Fayed, has not been on the field. No, we think they should have him out.
Al-Fayed got hit really hard, and we saw him kind of crawl off the field. He's in crutches, and he will not be playing the rest of the night. A lot of worries about that. But like you said, great atmosphere so far. Homecoming's really performing the way that we expected it to. Still a packed house, a lot of blue and gold, and Panther Nation over there is still pretty full too.
Oh yeah, I did say that I did not see many black and red people over there, but however, there is quite a student section. They got pretty loud whenever North Central scored a back connected to pass, so good for them.
Yeah, a lot of excitement so far. Great first half. We'll see you back here after the game. Let's send it up back to the booth, but first, a commercial break here on CHTV.
I need to go take pictures of the court.
welcome inside the booth with a score of 17-0 going into the second half. Dashuan, the Panthers need to find their stride and pick something up here as the Greyhounds' run offense has just been dominant throughout the entire first half, and it's really the 137 yards on the ground. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. I've said that a few times with you tonight, and the Greyhounds' run offense is not broken at all. They don't need to fix a thing.
Very, very true. And it's not just one player. I mean, it seems that almost every time they run the ball, it's a chunk play. It's an explosive play because this offensive line is just so strong that all of these star running backs are able to shine, especially against a sort of weaker team like the Panthers. And we'll probably see a lot of running, especially if this game gets out of hand, just to chew the clock out and end the game.
With just a few minutes before both teams take the field, the Greyhounds do receive the second half kickoff. Coyer, just a sophomore quarterback, is not throwing the ball much tonight, but we've really seen Colin Johnson and Norval Tucker get the ball in their hands and make stuff happen. Colin Johnson's first play from the scrimmage picked up well over 20 yards. Norval Tucker, 2 touchdowns on tonight. The Panthers offense, they do not trust their special teams at all. Have to go for it almost every single time on fourth down. And in result, they're not able to pick it up and are just really leaving Greyhounds defense out there to really pick up. And you're kind of slowing down the defense. You want to slow down that front four that the Greyhounds have and rely on your guys who may be conditioned better to make something happen.
Very, very true. And it's just a mixture of things causing the Panthers struggle here tonight. You know, sort of the reluctancy to run pass plays. And when you do, the reason they're not working is either because of failed pass protection, you know, that strong defensive line. And then even when the pass protection does hold up and he passes the ball, that strong secondary, as you saw from E with the interception, just too many roadblocks in the way of the Panthers. This Carmel's defense is just too strong.
As Dr. Ferris, the principal here at Carmel High School, is hyping up the student section right before the second half gets underway. Dr. Ferris, throughout this entire week, Dashuan, I feel like, has been the bright star at Carmel High School. He's really dressed up every single day for our homecoming week, and he's a young guy. I'll give that to him. He's a great guy, young guy. He's keeping the energy up here tonight.
Very, very true. And I don't know if I've ever had a principal so relatable and filled with energy. A great guy. He's hyping up the student section, which, aside from maybe last week, has been pretty dormant this year. You know, people expected Carmel to be a little bit weaker, but as they've started to show in the season, they're not a team to laugh at, and maybe the student section will start showing up a little bit more now.
As the Greyhounds are out there to receive the second half kickoff, 17-0 is the lead. And really, if you have to look at the Panthers, Heath Kaiser has been the only star for the team. He's able to do it throughout the air and really on the ground too. But the more rushing attempts that he has with his legs, the more use to the Greyhounds defense that they are going to be, as they just know anytime he has the ball in his hands and he rolls out to his right, he's going to use his legs. Or if he rolls out to his left, you need to really have a quarterback spy on him and stop that from even really being put into creation.
Very, very true. And what I will say, sometimes even when Carmel put the spy on him, he's very, very, very quick. You know, he may not be the fastest, even though he is fast, but he's quick. He's a very agile player. And putting a defensive lineman as a spy, not a lot of players can keep up with a quick player like Kaiser.
As the second half is just about to be underway, 12 minutes up there. Score is 17-0 as the Greyhounds muff the kick. A chance for the Panthers to jump on it. Bellin is going to slip and fall down at the 10-yard line. So tough field position for the Greyhounds. First drive of the second half.
It looked like a little bit of a miscommunication there on the return. Two Greyhounds ran into each other, which resulted in the botched kick. A lot of botched plays here. You know, we had the botched snap from Coyer. The Panthers had the slip up on their return, and now we've got the Carmel slipping on the return.
But if we look at the botched snap from Coyer, he made something out of nothing on that, picking up almost, I believe, 27 yards. As it's going to be handoff now to Johnson. tries to make a man miss, and is going to pick up a few yards and force a second down for the Greyhounds.
Number 25, Colin Johnson on the
So it's going to be a 2nd and 4 for the Greyhounds. Just trying to get out of their tough field position as they had to start at the 10-yard line, push now to the 17. Dashuan, this is where the playbook could open. You have less than 5 yards to go. You could look for a deep pass here, play action, try and throw off the guard of the Panthers, or look really just for another jet sweep over to Rogers. Goes to the right side, tries to bounce it out to the sideline. Is not going to be able to pick up the first down. So it's going to be a 3rd and inches that the Greyhounds are going to be facing.
Now this is where you maybe want to see the Greyhounds throw the ball. You know, they're only at about 30 yards passing or so far. Sort of uncharacteristic for the Greyhounds, but like as we've said multiple times, the run game is working so well that you might as well just keep going to it. But that is a very low number, especially for the Greyhounds.
And already starting the second half, this Panthers defense has really been a remarkable sight to watch. They are already forcing a 3rd down. Corner's going to have the option over to Johnson. Tries to make a few man miss, but he's going to be able to pick up the first down and be dragged at the 26-yard line.
Number 25,
and that is the second time they've ran the exact same play from the first half. We already saw that Rogers jet sweep twice, and now we see that pitch from Coyer. This time it wasn't to Tucker, it was to Colin Johnson, and both of those plays worked pretty well.
And a Greyhounds first down at the 26-yard line, and already their offense is picking up where they left off. They may have had just a slow pickup, but they're getting their stride back as Tucker's going to be back in the backfield. Pollard is motioned over left. Corner takes a snap over to Tucker, who's already had a great game, finds some space, and trips on his own feet as it feels like he could be almost anywhere. And a flag is going to be thrown as pretty much it looked to be unnecessary roughness on the Panthers.
Very true. They could be getting frustrated. I mean, I would be frustrated too if I was down 17-0 with an 0-5 record. You know, there might be a little bit of squabbling going on between both sides. It looked pretty chippy in the beginning. We'll see how that plays out.
And personal foul is going to be called, so the ball is going to be advancing almost to the midline of the field. As the ball is going to be placed, I believe, 15 yards, and it's going to be at the 49-yard line in Panthers territory, so the Greyhounds are close to the red zone and really looking to make something happen here.
Very true. They got that little boost from the personal foul, so they're just about at the midfield point. Can really do anything they want here.
Corner takes a snap, play action pass, looks over to Rogers, and Rogers is not going to be picking up the first down, short by 1 or 2 yards.
And, you know, that was just a little bit too high. You know, Rogers had to extend and come down with that ball, which limits his yards after catch potential play to make there. You know, he was in the open space. If that pass is a little bit lower, he might have been able to do a little bit more. But 8 yards is still great for a first down.
As it's going to be a 2nd and 2. Bellin, who's been the red zone threat for the Greyhounds this entire season, is checked into the game with Rogers to the right of the right of corner. Pollard is on the left, possibly going to be motioned right. I believe this could be a run play, and it's going to be a false start on the Greyhounds as it was on Norval Tucker, and Colin Johnson is going to be checked back into the game.
An unfortunate break there. Looks like the ball is going to go back 10 yards. Oh, excuse me, 5 yards. Which is going to lead to a 2nd and 7.
5-yard penalty.
17-0 with 9:45 left to play here. Start of the second half. Greyhounds' momentum is still on their side as they have pretty much compiled a 17-point lead, unanswered. Option play over to Johnson. Tries to make a man miss, and he does, but runs into his own lineman. Runs into number 79, Abraham Ramirez, as Johnson really just ran into one big man. 6'5" is Ramirez, as he knows that may have been his own. I would say he could have been tackled by number 99 myself, but I feel like he was tackled by Ramirez.
Very true, and you can see Rogers sort of egging him on, telling him to keep his head up as they prepare for 3rd and 4.
3rd and 4.
Corner sends Johnson over to his right, and a flag is going to be called on the Greyhounds, I believe, once again. Waiting for the call from the head referee. As Ramirez, I believe, is going to be called for a false start. Just mistake after mistake, Dashuan. 8:53 left to play here, but another mistake for the Greyhounds.
And that's going to bring up 3rd and
False start against
now here.
the
3rd and 9,
Greyhounds, 5-yard
maybe looking
penalty.
to pass.
3rd and 9 from the 48.
I would say this is a passing situation. Corner takes the ball, rolls out left, has Rogers in wide space, and just throws it behind him as he could not get his eyes up early enough to see how wide open Rogers was.
And that's going to be an unfortunate punting situation.
4th down to the Greyhounds.
And there is a flag on the play. I'm not sure what that was.
As it is declined, and it's going to bring up 4th down. So the Panthers are possibly, well, I have to say possibly here because we have seen them muff the ball a few times tonight. So a possible first drive for them if they were able to corral the punt and be able to return it. But we're going to be seeing once again Lucas Crusamurthy out there to kick the ball away over to number 80, your Bugatti, Demetrius Avery. Crusamurthy with the punt.
Wow.
High punt. As this could get a generous bounce, but it's on. A great bounce for the Panthers. Recovered at the 32 in Panthers territory. So great field position for the Panthers.
And now with just a little over 20 minutes left to play in this game, you need to string together a touchdown drive. If not, this game is going to become out of reach because we know how much they like to run the ball. They're going to keep that clock running. So this drive is probably going to take up the most of the quarter. So you really want to see the end zone here on this drive.
And like you said, you're looking for an end zone drive here. If they can put one together, they could almost hit what they average on the season, which is just close to 9 points. So far, they have been shut out this entire game, going on 4th down every single time. As it's going to be a handoff quickly wrapped up by the Greyhounds, as Perryman was not able to make anything happen.
And a great stop there by the Greyhounds. The Greyhounds have been showing their grit and grind all night, especially this defensive line, getting up after those players, especially when you run these players over and over and over again. Your defense can get really tired, so it takes a lot of grit to stay in this game and keep making these stops.
As Kaiser still at the quarterback position, looks to pass here. Pocket breaks down as he tries to run for his life here, breaks it out left, makes a few man miss, but Artie Bryant comes in as Marsh was the first man to him, but Bryant is going to come in and finish the job.
Yep, and this is going to bring up 3rd and down, 3rd and 9. And now let's see if the Panthers are going to do what they've refused to do all night, and that is run an actual pass play on 3rd down.
As this may be a rundown for them, as we've seen this entire game. Kaiser's trying to use his cadence and gets Bryant to jump off sides as the ball is going to be advancing 5 yards. Puts them in better field position than they were, so it's going to be a 3rd and 4 for the Panthers.
And that is an unfortunate break, but it is still 3rd down. You know, as I said before on a play where they were 4 yards away from converting, too far away for their famous QB sneak, but they still have ran the ball with 4 yards to go. So that does bring up that possibility.
Kaiser tries to use his cadence once again to get the Greyhounds to jump off sides, but is not able to as the clock dips under 7 minutes. Kaiser takes a snap, looks left in a quick pass, and just once again drilled to the ground by Winbush.
That's Jimmy Winbush Jr. there, number 38. And it looks like they're staying on the field for 4th and 1. We might see that QB sneak that we've already seen here twice in this game.
Gain of 3.
As Averett was the person to receive it, so a 4th and 1 to go. This is just the quarterback sneak situation. Kaiser's trying to get pushed. The flag is down as he may get a generous push from his lineman and is able to pick up the first down, but a flag is on the floor.
Number 15, Heath Kaiser on the quarterback keeper. There is a penalty flag on the play.
It looks like the flag is on the Panthers.
Waiting for the call.
Kaiser is really upset with the call.
As Dashuan, I could be picking up. I don't know what could the call be on that because it wasn't holding.
Yeah, the ref sort of made a motion with his hands cupped and motioning them upward. I've never seen a ref make a motion like that. Not sure what that call was.
We might need to read up on the rule book.
Penalty against the Panthers.
5-yard penalty, so 4th and 6 for the Panthers.
36-yard line.
They're still going to go for this.
On the 36-yard line in their own territory.
Very questionable call.
Kaiser takes the snap, and it's going to just be a punt from Kaiser. We've seen this happen a few times this season already by a few quarterbacks. King actually did that just a few weeks ago.
I'm a little lost here, Casey. I've never seen something like that. A quarterback punting the ball. I mean, why don't you just send your punt team out on the field?
You may not have a punter. But think about Tom Brady did this at one point too.
Do I not watch enough football? Because I have never seen that before.
4th and 6. You don't trust your offensive line to really hold up and probably allow your quarterback to have enough time. The defense for the Greyhounds has just been too strong, so rely on your quarterback to just kind of kick it away.
I mean, that does also give the Carmel team worse defensive position. It looks like there was a possible face mask on
Tucker on the carry for the Greyhounds.
As Tucker is getting a lot of reps in tonight's game. Not much of Colin Johnson, the junior, but the senior. Norval Tucker has really shined in tonight's game. 2 touchdowns in the first half. A lot of rushing yards out of him as well, as almost close to 100. So he may be the first Greyhound this entire season to hit that 100 mark.
Very, very true. If he keeps playing like he is, he could very well much do that.
As a 3rd and 1 for the Greyhounds. Excuse me, 2nd and 1 for the Greyhounds. 1st and 1 for the Greyhounds. Tucker finds space. Tries to bounce it out right. Has open field. Past the 50 and is dragged down at the 42 in Panthers territory. Dashuan and multiple 20-yard plus runs out of him tonight.
Norval is letting the Panthers hear it. He is excited. He is fired up. Talk to him, Norval. This man is cooking them. He had his Wheaties this morning because every time he gets his ball, he's making an explosive play. What a performance by Norval so far.
You know, Wheaties and Bugatti. You know, you are full of it today, Dashuan. You know almost anything. As corner's going to take the snap. Johnson's checking in. And another flag as Johnson is going to be tackled for a loss. This defense for the Panthers is really kind of stepping up late in this game. As Jalen Hill is going to be credited with the tackle. And another flag is out there as cannot tell. It might be hands to the face. As the head ref is getting, I believe, the description of what happened. Personal foul against the Panthers, and the ball is going to be advanced 15 yards as the Greyhounds are really just, I would describe the Greyhound season as luck. Dashuan, anytime you and I call a game, Greyhounds have just been lucky. So it's going to be a few yards into Panthers territory.
And that is another unfortunate break for the Panthers. You know, they're down 17. They've had a pretty
penalty is a
rough
personal
season so
foul
far, along
against
with the
North
rough
Central.
season last year.
15 yards,
Very
first and
unfortunate.
10
You know, Carmel's just
from the
truly been
28-yard
dominating
line.
this game, aside from maybe the pass game, which they haven't need to go to in this game.
Johnson is going to be stuck at running back, tries to spin off the Panthers, but is going to be taken down past the 25-yard line.
Colin Johnson on the carry. Stopped by number 0, Bakari Fields, and number 8, George Bloomingberg.
And like the PA announcer said, George Bloomingberg, his name has been called a bunch this game. He's flying to the ball. He might be the only player that we've seen his name brought up almost every single play.
Very, very true. And like I said at the beginning, this defense is led by George, a corner piece of his squad.
Corner with a bobbled snap. Play action pass, tries to feed Bellin, and it's an interception. The Panthers come up with the ball as Bellin was not able to hold on to it and flipped on his back, but it may be called off.
Not sure what the call is here, but it is not called off. It has been ruled an interception.
As Xavion Brooks, the junior, was able to rip the ball away from Jake Bellin.
Interception by the Panthers.
As the Panthers are going to be set just in not the best field position, just around the 10-yard line,
North
but
Central will take over first
another
and 10
interception
from the 11-yard
for
line.
Corner. I would not blame that on him.
Very, very true. And this isn't good field position. I would be a little bit scared as the play caller for the Panthers because, you know, Carmel's got a lot of strong defensive players. Artie Bryant could get in there for a sack or a tackle for loss and really make this interesting here.
Kaiser at the quarterback. Sends over. Averett. Avery has it. Has some open space. Bounces it out to the sideline. And is able to bring it out of bounds past the 20-yard line at the 21.
And that was a good play. You know, the Panthers may have gotten away with the block there. I saw some questionable, may have gotten away with the hold there. I saw some questionable blocking over at the top of the screen. But those things are hard to spot, especially as a ref.
As Averett was able to pick up 11 yards. Handoff over to Pearman. Finds a bit of space, but is going to be taken down. And then, did you see that big block out of number 27 down there?
I actually did not.
Dashuan. Oh, no. You missed it. He was getting up to the second levels and was trying to lay it down on Adams. And Adams wasn't having it. But that block was just nasty.
And that is another thing I'll bring up. This run protection for the Panthers has been good, especially considering how poor their pass protection has been.
That's a pass over to Averett. Uses a juke move. Finds some open field, but gets thrown down easily by Drew Cannon.
And his play, stepping up after Shockley and Snow both have sustained significant injuries, has been amazing. Drew Cannon has came in here sort of unexpectedly and played phenomenal.
Averett has really just been the guy who's the playmaker for the team. He's trying to make anything happen when the ball's in his hands. Trips right. Play action pass over to Thompson. Bounces it outside. And almost picks up the first down, just a yard short. This might be the touchdown drive for the Panthers, but a flag is down there on the field.
They may have seen one of the holds that I've been seeing sort of all this drive.
And at the same time, you can't call every single.
Very true.
So you have to let some guys play, but it feels like this entire second half is really, the storyline is just flag and then let them play for a few more plays and then another flag.
Very, very true, because if I'm being honest, there's been holds on quite a lot of the plays. Obviously, they don't see them all, and you don't want to just throw that flag every single play because that just slows down the game so much in a game that's already not very competitive. So sometimes you just got to let them play.
17-0. This is the best defense that the North Central Panthers have played all season, only allowing 17 points. Dashuan, I think you and I talked this week. I told you I thought the Greyhounds were only going to be able to get 28 this game.
I thought it was going to be a little bit more, especially considering the least amount of points this team has let a team score this season so far is 35, and I don't think that all those rosters were better than Carmel. Maybe offensively, but I still think that Carmel's going to get – I still expected Carmel to get a little bit more than they have right now. Still a phenomenal game, though.
And the most common opponent that both of these teams have is Lawrence North, that both teams played. Lawrence North did come here at the Carmel Greyhounds just last week. Game ended in amazing fashion for the Greyhounds. Blocked field goal to win the game, which really, this game is momentum. If they're able to carry that going into almost the sectional round of the playoffs in just a few weeks, they could possibly be able to get past that, which has not been something they've been able to do throughout the last few seasons. But pass is going to be incomplete, and another flag is down on the field. Dashuan, flag after flag after flag.
And yeah, it is annoying, but it is on the right side of the field. I believe it was a hold. I mean, if you don't want them to throw the flag, don't hold the defender.
You got to get them right in the chest pads, the pads of the other player, and if they run another way, just shift your feet the same way. Don't carry your arms. That's something that they teach you at a very young age of playing football. And if you're not able to do that at the high school level, because these players are just at a complete skill gap, you're seeing it with the score of 17-0. The Greyhounds players are just being held play after play after play, and the refs are really just calling it because the North Central offensive line is not able to hold them. Only on run plays, they're able to open up a few gaps, but the linebackers for the Greyhounds and Marsh and Bryant are able to fly into those gaps with Windbush and really just wreak havoc.
Very, very true. Strong, dynamic defensive unit here we have at Carmel.
As Kaiser has Perryman in the backfield, takes the snap. Screen pass over to Perryman, breaks one tackle, and is going to be taken down quickly. So 2nd and 27 turns in to, I would say, a 3rd and maybe 22.
3rd and 20, I believe.
3rd and 20. 7-yard gain.
And here's a 3rd and 20. You got to make up 20 yards. I don't know what I'll say if they run the ball here.
If you run the ball here, I feel like you're just giving up.
Yeah, sort of a Giants kneel type deal thing.
As Kaiser's trying to use the cadence. As the clock dips, under a minute left to play. And it's just going to be a timeout called by the Panthers to really reset here as the clock dips, under 40 seconds left to play. And if you're in this situation, do you just kneel the ball? Because it feels like that's what they would do here.
I don't know, because, I mean, it's a 3-possession game. I don't think you kneel it. I mean, you at least got to go. The least you could do is run the ball. Because there's obviously, this game isn't over. So I think kneeling it is, I wouldn't do that.
Two to the left of Kaiser, 2 to the left, right. Looks to his right, shakes it off, breaks away as once again, Zaynab is going to be in the backfield, and I believe that's going to be a sack for Zaynab. First of the season for him, so a lot of firsts for the Greyhounds. Norval Tucker gets 2 touchdowns this game. His 2 touchdowns the entire season, and Zaynab getting his first sack of the season here. And Dashuan, I think we may be seeing the punt team come out for the Panthers
for the first time.
For the first time going into the 4th quarter, Dashuan, the Greyhounds defense is standing strong, being that brick wall that they are this entire season, not really allowing a lot of yards, 160 allowed on the entire game. But the rush game for the Greyhounds offense has just been remarkable to watch, 198 yards rushing. The pass game, you as a Greyhound offender, and if you're a wide receiver, you kind of feel bad. You're like, if I can get open against a team that is not really blocking me, why can my quarterback not pass it? But I'm going to say it once again, if it's not broke, don't fix it. The rush game, 198 yards rushing, just something remarkable to look at.
Very, very true. And when you've got one of the best offensive lines in the state going up against a weaker team like the Panthers, you got to run the ball. You got to fight their weaknesses and use your strengths. So if you only have 40 passing yards in a game, that's fine, because all that matters is that you're going to win the game.
You said you're going to win the game. It's almost guaranteed here, 17-0, but we have seen a lot of things change. Just last week, the Greyhounds did give up a 60-plus yard kick return, which almost set them in a losing record. A 3-2 team now are the Greyhounds, as they were able to win just last week in a really remarkable fashion. But 0-5 are the North Central Panthers. 3-2 are the Carmel Greyhounds. Greyhounds looking to be 4-2 if they can get a win here tonight. High snap for the punt, and it's going to be getting almost a Panthers bounce, as that one's going to roll towards Rogers, and the Greyhounds are going to be picking up where they left off at the 39.
Down to the 34-yard line.
At the 34-yard line. Yes, at the 34-yard line.
And now that it's 17-0 going into the fourth, the game is pretty much over. Do you think that Colner will play the rest of this game, or do you think they experiment a little bit and let Zach play a little bit?
I think Colner is going to play until the Greyhounds score one more touchdown, and then you could be up 24, and then you put in Trent, as Tucker's going to try and bounce it out, but is going to be pushed out of bounds at the 42-yard line. And Tucker's just been a remarkable player to watch tonight, Dashuan. He is probably the shining light. He's stepping in to really the spotlight, and he's showing really more what he can do against not the best defense, but what he can do in the future too, as this is his last season. But he's showing the coaches, give me more reps. I'm putting the work in practice. I'm putting the work in the weight room, and I'm showing other guys on the opponent's teams that they need to hit the weight room.
Very true, KC.
As Johnson's going to be able to find a hole, uses the stiff arm, and it's going to be dragged down past the 50, down at the 45-yard line. That was a Derrick Henry type stiff arm.
Very true. It's very ironic that you're talking about the weight room, and then Colin Johnson gives him a little bit of a stiff arm. You know, I don't want to go too far, sort of like I did in the last broadcast, but he definitely could have said some things as he was pulling off that move.
You know, Colin Johnson is a very exciting junior to watch, is going to be the starting running back next year, with Elijah Al-Fayed and Norval Tucker both leaving the Greyhounds after this season. As Tucker is going to spin off and get thrown to the ground, only able to pick up a few yards, but not many, as he was hit hard.
Stop by number 52, Liam McDowell, and number 11, Drew Cannon for the Greyhounds.
I apparently believe that Drew Cannon for the Greyhounds is playing for the other team now, based off of the PA announcers.
Here comes the correction.
Here comes the correction.
Just a slight mistake.
Just a slight mistake, as Drew Cannon almost flipped teams. As Corner takes the snap, looks to Rogers, gets it at the 38, and is going to be brought down past the 35, down at the 34.
Rogers, tackled by number 0, Bakari Fields for the Panthers.
You know, it feels like that the Panthers may need Drew Cannon out there on the field, as their safeties are really getting gassed out here and beat by the wide receivers for the Greyhounds. Even though the pass game hasn't been the strongest, they just need extra help. It feels like you might need to throw on almost another half team out there.
I mean, yeah, the Carmel has really just been showing their dominance at all levels of the field, besides maybe, as earlier I said, the pass game. And that's going to be a negative play for Nathan Rogers, who's going to set up a 2nd and long for the Greyhounds.
And 2nd and long, something that they are not used to in this game. They're going to be at a 2nd and 16. And this is difficult. This could be a passing down for the Greyhounds. Only 41 passing yards on the game, 221 rushing yards, and you can't be mad about that at all. If you're a Greyhound fan, the rush game has just been there every single time someone touches the ball, and you're really just trying to get the pass game to wake up. Colner's not given much opportunities to pass the ball here tonight, as it's another run to Johnson. and is able to pick up, I believe he's going to be taken down, and the Greyhounds are going to be facing a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9.
And most of the time I would frown upon running the ball there, but what that does, that keeps the clock running, and it brings it to a 3rd and 10, a lot more manageable than 16 yards, a lot more play calls that you can call now, only needing 10 yards.
As the clock is just about to dip under, 9 minutes left to play, score 17-0. Greyhounds with another handoff, but Corner's going to keep it, and it's going to almost pick up the first down as the ball may have came out at the end, but he may be called down as we are waiting for the call from the head referee. And they're going to say that he is down by contact, so the ball did not come out. George Blumenberg, your guy, Dashuan. He is your guy throughout this entire game. But 4th and 2, really we've seen the Panthers go for it all game. Why shouldn't the Greyhounds do it?
Very true, and they might pull something fun out of the playbook. Carmel doesn't like to go for it on 4th down a lot, but they choose to do so here.
As Rogers is being sent to the right. Under center, his corner. He's going to try and pick it up with his legs, and he's going to get the first down for the Greyhounds.
A big, strong run there for the young quarterback. I haven't seen that play called for Carmel, so they just continue to expand this playbook. And here comes first down near the red zone.
And like you said, first down near the red zone. And this is really where the Greyhounds playbook could open. We have seen them run a Philly special before. You, Sean, and I both called that. That was really the most remarkable play that we've seen all year. Christian Peterson with a passing touchdown to Anthony Corner. Has the option over to Tucker. He could get his 3rd touchdown here if he has a chance. Breaks away, and he reaches for the end zone. And that's the hat trick for the Greyhounds.
That was a touchdown. And there's the hat trick for Norval Tucker. 3 touchdowns in this game, 3 touchdowns on the season. Doing his best Christian Nielsen impression with the hat trick on the game.
And like you mentioned, Christian Nielsen, who did have a hat trick just the last game that he played for the soccer team here at Carmel in Murray Stadium. But 3 touchdowns, a night to remember for Tucker, as he's just been really the star player, the X-factor player, a player who cannot be stopped this entire game. You know, I think the only way that the Panthers are going to stop him are if they put every single guy on their team around him. But Tucker, he's been able to put on the move, the juke move, the spin move, and is able to use the stiff arm to his advantage to take it into the end zone 3 times tonight.
Very, very true, and I really love to see this from Tucker, especially because he wasn't able to prove himself last year, was struggling with some bickering injuries all year. This year he was struggling a little bit, but now he's showing you what he can truly do and truly showing off the depth that Carmel has at the running position.
The depth at the running back position has been seen all night. Colin Johnson has stepped up with the Elijah Al-Fayed injury, the lower body injury that he had suffered earlier in the first half. But since then, the running game has just been relied on Tucker. He's showing that he can be the star with Al-Fayed out. Colin Johnson also stepping up too, as he's really able to get the ball in his hands and make something happen to both players. I believe Tucker is well past 150 yards rushing.
Just a phenomenal game for him so far. A phenomenal game on the ground here. The Greyhounds could potentially have 300 yards on the ground here.
261 total yards for the Greyhounds, 41 passing yards, 302 total yards compared to 160 yards for the Panthers. Dashuan, this game is just out of reach for the Panthers, and it's really, this is the best play that the Greyhounds have put together in a long time.
Very, very true.
As just like that, the wide receiver for the Demetrius Everett is able to push the Panthers up into great field position to start this next drive.
Number 51, Will Massey for the Greyhounds.
Drive is going to start at the 29 in Panthers territory. They need to put something together here, or the Greyhounds could walk away with another shutout. An interception by E. Battelle happened earlier in the second half. In the first half. It's the only turnover. The Greyhounds do average just around 3.5 turnovers forced. Only one here tonight. It's going to be handoff over to Perryman. And he's going to be tackled by a swarm of Greyhounds.
And with this phenomenal game rushing so far, especially from Norval Tucker, he has a chance to make history here at the Carmel Stadium, because the last time Carmel had a 200-yard rusher in a game was in 2015 by Tobias Watkins. And although he's not there yet, there's enough time on this clock for it to happen.
And Tobias Watkins was an amazing player to watch throughout the entire career that he faced, as Kaiser's trying to roll out, pitch it, and a toe tap catch. That might be a highlight right there, Dashuan. An amazing, really, toe tapper on the sideline all the way over Kaiser over to Thompson. And that's really just, you have to find some fun in this game while you're down 24. Really find your highlight plays, put them in your mixtape, and see what you can do from there.
Yep, at this point, players might be going for some stats and, like you said, trying to boost up their mixtape a little bit.
Kaiser with an interception just like that. The Greyhounds are going to have the ball once again. Drew Cannon has a chance for the pick six at the 30. It is taken down past the 25. Another interception for Drew Cannon.
And, of course, it's Drew Cannon. Phenomenal season he's had so far, coming in for the injured safeties, and he is just proving that he is here to stay. Just a junior. Next year, he'll have a lasting impact. I also want to say there probably was some miscommunication there. At the top of your screen, there was a wide receiver, but Heiser decided to throw into coverage instead, which resulted in the interception.
And the Greyhounds are put into great field position after a great return from Cannon at the 21. Corner has Johnson in the backfield. Hand off to Johnson. Tries to go up the middle, and he does. Picks up a few yards. And the Greyhounds are going to be facing a 2-4. Clock dips under, 2-5. Clock dips under 6 minutes, 30 seconds left to play here. And Dashuan, are you really just going to rely on the run game here, try and get that 300 yards rushing in the entire game? Or are you going to look for some passing yardage, try and get one of your wide receivers who have not touched the ball much in this game and try and put them in the end zone?
I think they'll continue with the run, or not.
Over to Rogers, makes a man miss, and he's going to be dragged by the ankle down, close to the first down, but a flag is out there on the field. The PA announcer got it right. No Drew Cannon on the North Central side. They do wish that he could have been after a great interception from him.
Very, very true. And maybe there was some fortune there after he made the missed call on Drew Cannon that resulted in him getting that interception.
But we did not get to see much of your star, Bugatti, out there on the field, number 80. As the Greyhounds are going to be pushed back to the 26-yard line. Rogers and Mace to the left of corner. At the top of your screen is Bellin. Handoff is going to be over to Johnson, but it really felt like the Greyhounds offensive line may have just let the Panthers into the backfield, and a tackle for loss on Johnson.
And here comes Norval Tucker. Carmel may go to him considering the amazing game he's had so far.
Third down.
Looking for almost 200 yards rushing in a single game for Tucker. 3 touchdowns. He could get a fourth here. He's been frustrated multiple times this season where he knows he could break away, and he has a chance to break away here if he can get a 4th touchdown. Tucker's in the backfield at the 26-yard line. It's going to be a throw from corner. Looks deep for Mace, and right through the hands of Mace as that touchdown was called off. Mace could have had his first touchdown and his 3rd catch of the season.
And it looks like the kicking team is coming on to the field.
as I know Carson Mace is going to be kicking himself after that one as he beat his man. And really, that was his best route that he ran all year, as just a little bit of a post route up the field into the middle of the end zone. He beat his corner and was really just able to have the ball in his hands, just couldn't hold on to it.
And do you think the ref getting in the way affected that play a little bit? Now, obviously, he didn't physically get in the way, but if it was me and there was a ref, I would slow down a little bit. You know, you don't want to hurt the ref.
And the kick is good as it almost looked to be short. 2 for 2. The Greyhounds have not missed a field goal or an extra point kick all season.
And they have just been phenomenal when it comes to the special teams. You know, we've got 2 ranked kickers on this squad. Phenomenal special teams unit we have.
Phenomenal, like you said, and really every man on this team is able to step up as a 27-0 lead is given unanswered by the Panthers. And really, Dashuan, I don't know what the Panthers can do. They have to score something to hold their head up high, but 111 passing yards for the Panthers in tonight's game, 64 rushing yards. And really, it feels like the Greyhounds are playing almost to the level of, I'm not going to compare them to the Christian Brothers Cadets, but I am going to compare them more to, I don't know, Dashuan. I would almost compare the Greyhounds to the Browns.
The Browns?
The NFL team, the Browns. If you think about it, they do rely more on the run game.
True.
They do not pass the ball that much.
True.
And really, that's what we've seen a lot from them tonight. 266 rushing yards. It almost feels like they have Nick Chubb in the backfield and Norfolk Tucker, basically, and then Kareem Hunt, formerly, who was on the team almost a few years ago, and Colin Johnson, 2 strong runners. And then you're really relying on your quarterback and Anthony Colner, who I would compare to Baker Mayfield.
Very, very true. So you're thinking like a 2021 Browns team.
2021 Browns team.
Not like a Deshaun Watson Browns team. Okay.
Dashuan is he can throw the ball and he picks up his yards. I'm not saying Colner can't. I'm just saying he likes to throw it more than Colner.
Very, very true. And teams with Deshaun Watson generally like to run the ball a little bit more than the Greyhounds are doing in this game.
With a 27-0 lead, the Greyhounds are looking for their second shutout of all season, as they did shut out, surprisingly, Martin Luther King High School, 39-0. Dashuan, I believe you and I were on that call.
We were. Maybe this is good luck.
You know, it is. Anytime you and I call, I think the Greyhounds win.
2-0.
I think so, right?
Yeah. And possibly 2-0 on shutouts as well.
Don't jinx them down there, though.
Obviously.
Yes, obviously. Knock on some wood.
Yep.
As the student section looks to be fading slightly for both sides of the field. The Greyhound student section was packed tonight since it is homecoming. But we did have the chant of freshman bedtime, and I wouldn't blame them. Dashuan, you know, I'm full of jokes today. You're laughing at a lot of my stuff.
I am. Usually it's me.
Usually it is you.
Wild commentary, but I'm letting you take the driver's seat today.
You know, I'm taking the driver's seat like I'm taking the Bugatti from the junkyard.
Yep. Number 80.
Man, all right. This is where the Panthers team needs to string together a few plays, put something in the end zone. Don't rely on your quarterback to kick a punt, though.
Yeah. I don't know what that was about. You're saying it's normal. I've never seen something like that.
We've seen it just a few weeks ago as number 80, Everett, is going to have open field past the 30 and gets knocked down past the 40-yard line. The star player of the team. Fastest player out there on the field, hardest guy to stop, and it looks like the refs are not having it with the Panthers at all as a flag is thrown on the field.
They keep complaining. It's probably going to be another hold here. If it is, I'm just going to have to say it. It's just a skill issue. If you want the yards, don't hold.
No, it may be unsportsmanlike conduct against the Panthers, so ball's going to be pushed back, I believe, 15 yards from where Everett ran out of bounds. Not a good look already. So ball's going to be placed, I believe, at the 29-yard line for the Panthers. Really, they cannot get a break at all.
Cannot.
Look at that. 29-yard line, Dashuan. I can get my math down. I can see the field.
44 minus 15 is indeed 29.
I appreciate you checking that for me. Ball's going to be at the 29-yard line, so tough position for the Panthers. They need a first down or need to put a few plays together to really get the ball past midfield, past the 50-yard line, to even put something up on the board. Greyhounds defense has been strong this entire game. 2 interceptions, a great return. Just the last time the defense was out by Dominic Shockley to set the Greyhounds up for a field goal. Kaiser takes the snap, looks to have the option, and gets it off to Everett.
Number 80, Demetrius Everett. On the carry for the Panthers.
As he picks up 2 yards for the Panthers.
Will Massey.
And Will Massey, his name has been called on special teams and defense all night as he's stepped up and really played as a Greyhound tonight. Been chasing the ball and really just has not turned off his motor once.
Very, very true. A lot of grit from him tonight.
Bunch set to the right. Sends Everett. Looks deep. For Thompson. Thompson gets the ball, makes a man miss, and gets thrown down at the 32-yard line.
And this just really shows you the potential that this North Central team has. You know, they've got a decent amount of talent, but they just really need to string it together and stay disciplined. We've seen lots of flashes, especially from the offensive side of the ball. They just got to stay disciplined, limit the amount of flags that they get, and this team could be really good.
Bunch set, looks to be the same play. Looks for Everett, takes it himself, and Kaiser, and gets tossed down past the 30-yard line. So second down coming up for the Panthers.
The quarterback keeper.
And Dashuan, another run play. We have not seen really more designed runs since then. Really since the first half, 171 passing yards for the Panthers compared to the 41 that the Greyhounds have. 200. So the Greyhounds have just about 200 more rushing yards than the entire Panthers offense, as Everett is able to move upfield slightly to the first down marker, but is going to be just short of it by 1 yard.
Number 2, Jabril Randolph.
Jabril Randolph is credited with the tackle.
Excuse me, it looks to be a first down for the Panthers. They are moving down the field. It may be a little too late, but you're really just trying to walk out of here with a little bit of pride.
I feel like they're trying to ruin our 2-0 shutout record right now.
I believe that the Greyhounds will get something here. As Wells has it and is taken down quickly by the Greyhounds past the 20-yard line. Dashuan, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go here for the Panthers. They need to put something easy together if they want to put anything up on the board, averaging, I believe, 9 points per game. And really their best scoring game, they scored 17 points.
Yeah, offensive struggles, and I really don't understand why, because they've got plenty of talent on this team.
Read to the left, hand off to Perryman, and the Greyhounds are not able to wrap up as Bryant is the one from his outside linebacker to position to take down Jalen Hill in red zone territory here, close to the end zone for the Panthers.
Number 68, Antonio Sosa for the Greyhounds. First and goal from the 10-yard line.
Clock dips under 2 minutes left to play here. The read to the left of Kaiser. Play action pass over to Everett. Finds almost a seam, but once again the Greyhounds are able to take him down and stop any sense of a touchdown for the Panthers.
Stopped by number
And
24,
this
Carter
brings
Grayson.
up 2nd and 6. A minute and 30 seconds left. The Panthers are going to want to get into the end zone here.
Now, I'm surprised that they were passing instead of running here. Kaiser rolls out right, looks for his wide receivers to get open, uses his legs, and is going to be, takes himself out past the 5-yard line, down to the 3. As this is just 3rd and 3 to go. You have to put something in to the end zone here, but we do know that if they don't get it here, they're going for it.
Very, very true. And if they don't score, that'll pretty much wrap up the game. Carmel will be able to just kneel the ball out and improve their record to 4-2 on the season.
As a shutout could be called here. Panthers looking over to their first-year head coach, Brandon Love. Pass play. Goes for the deep shot into the back of the end zone. But Kaiser's pass is incomplete. Looking for Joaquin Wells as this is 4th and goal from the 3-yard line. And Dashuan, really, I would rely on the run game here. You can't do what the Seahawks did in the Super Bowl and really pass the ball here. I feel like your run game has been strong while you only have 82 yards on the ground. 82 is still a big number to have on the ground. 82 yards, it's close to 100, but if you can get 3 here as the timeout is going to be called now.
And, you know, you bring up the Seahawks situation, but what I will say is that the Seahawks did have the best running back in the world at that time. And although this running game has been pretty good, I wouldn't exactly compare him to Marshawn Lynch. But, you know, it's been pretty good so far.
You want to compare Jim O'Perryman or Jalen Hill to Marshawn Lynch?
Nah. But what I will say, me personally, I think they should pass the ball.
In this situation,
Yeah.
4th and 3.
Yep.
With 1:21 left to play.
That's just me. I think they should pass.
I don't know. The last pass was just over the head of Joaquin Wells. So you really have to rely on Kaiser. Is he going to use his legs, though, to pick it up? We have seen a few designed runs for him. Or are they going to rely on the pass game and maybe have a few underneath routes and one maybe back end zone route?
We'll see here. 4th down coming up for the Panthers. Trying to avoid being shut out here at Carmel Stadium on homecoming.
On homecoming, 1:21 left to go. The Greyhounds up 27-0. I believe, this is my guess, we've seen this exact play ran, I believe, almost 15 times this game. Everett sent out to the left. Kaiser's going to go for the deep shot to Wells, and he has it! What a great catch by Joaquin Wells over Jabril Randolph. That is an amazing catch. Perfectly placed ball by Heath Kaiser, and really, the shutout is gone.
That is unfortunate.
As they could be going for 2 here, or we could be seeing the first time a field goal unit is coming out there.
And as I said before, I saw them in warm-ups. The field goal unit was struggling a little bit. Maybe we see a block, too. Are they allowed to do that at the high school level? Can we return a block kick for 2?
We'll find out. And it's blocked! Just like that, Dashuan, you called it.
I mean, what can I say, man?
As it feels like this entire Carmel defense, as Jabril Randolph did get cooked, he did come in and put in effort to block that kick.
Very, very true.
As the offense for the Greyhounds are coming out, they may just feed their star running back in tonight's game, Norval Tucker, or you're looking for more of your younger guys to get in some reps, as you do have a 21-point lead, 27-6 lead, as finally 6 points answered from the Panthers.
And with just a little over a minute left in this game, do you think that the Greyhounds will bring in Zach Trent?
I would say you could. This could be something. That could be something to see in tonight's game. Zach Trent is just a junior, but He does have the experience. He has played at the varsity level, just a few snaps a few weeks ago for him in the King game, but Anthony Corner has been almost stellar in tonight's game. I would not blame the interception that happened to him on 2 drives ago by his fault. Jake Bellin had the ball just ripped away from him, and it was an interception against Corner. So really, Dashuan, you're looking if the offense can really just run the clock down and not fumble the ball. You have to hold on to the ball here, as North Central does have 2 timeouts, so they could really put something together and possibly get another score on the board.
Very, very true, although I don't think it will happen. I want to say another thing. Christian Peterson is back out on the field with his teammates. Doesn't look like he's in any braces or anything, so that's very good news. And while we're here, as this game wraps up, I just want to say that this has been broadcasted by CHTV, and we have recently released a CHTV Plus option, a paid subscription for exclusive benefits.
Like you said, CHTV Plus. Let's say that one more time. CHTV Plus exclusive option deal has been released by CHTV, a remarkable deal that can be picked up at any time, a subscription payment service.
It's a yearly payment. We've got 2 options. You can do $21 a year or $99 a year.
Now, why 21?
Can you do something for me?
As in the backfield is Johnson, in the backfield, we are going to see Greg Kepler getting his first carry the entire year, as the Greyhounds are really just putting in some of their depth. And like you said, Zach Trent,
He did hit
that
the
is
field.
your guy.
Yep.
Zach Trent is your guy. He did hit the field. Zach Trent is going to be the play caller inside the huddle.
It looks like they're just going to kneel the ball out and end this game.
Zach Trent is taking the kneel as the clock is just going to run down. The Greyhounds. Dashuan, this is remarkable to see. Do you know why? What does today mark for the Greyhounds?
The 50th homecoming win for the Greyhounds. Took me a second. 50th homecoming win and 55 homecoming games, 27-6. That moves the Greyhounds to 4-2 on the season, and the Panthers to 0-6 on the season. Do you have any final thoughts of this game?
Back-to-back wins for the Greyhounds. Have not done that all year, and here's the thing. The Greyhounds last year went on a 5-game win streak before they went into the sectional rounds. If the Greyhounds here can continue that momentum before the playoffs start, I think this team could go deep in the playoffs, and that's what this team's looking to do. They need to really drive home through this game. Look at what they missed. There was a lot of miscommunication out there on the field. The fumble that started the game from Nate Rogers, and then the interception that was taken away basically by Jake Bellin's hands and given to the Panthers. Both teams need to look at what they can really put together. And Dashuan, for the Panthers, what do they need to fix? As they did put together 1 touchdown drive, but they had multiple chances throughout the game to really put something else together.
I think one of the biggest things for the Panthers is discipline. They had lots of big plays that were called back due to penalties, just staying disciplined. We also had that interception, which was pretty much an unforced error, kind of like a punt just thrown to them. Both teams weren't as sharp as you'd like them to see. Obviously, Carmel had multiple turnovers, uncharacteristic. But let's go ahead and send it down to Gigi and Noah for your post-game show.
The Hounds will next be in action next Friday night at 7 p.m. as they travel to face Ben Davis.
Stadium, where we just saw the Carmel Greyhounds triumph 27-6 over the North Central Panthers. Noah, what did we see tonight?
Yeah, Hounds really just showed up and showed out on homecoming, as they always do. 50th homecoming win in school history, so you love to see it tonight. All-around great team win. Offense was as we expected against this weak North Central team. Defense showed up as always, nearly a shutout before a late touchdown by North Central. So all-around great game on every aspect of the ball.
Absolutely. And no, something I really admire about the North Central Panthers is that despite getting beat on nearly every play for the entirety of this game, in the last minute, they held on long enough to score a touchdown, which I know is not the best thing that Carmel fans want to hear, but I really admire the resilience from this Panthers team.
Yeah, and this is also one of their closest games so far this year. Mm-hmm. So either that shows a little bit of weakness in Carmel, or this Panthers team is getting better, and they're showing improvement. So 6 points on the board is not what you want to see, but they held Carmel to only 27.
Absolutely. And Carmel, meanwhile, played an excellent game. We saw Anthony Colner get more comfortable in the pocket like we talked about in our pregame. So that was definitely something good to see.
Yeah, Colner getting way more comfy, as we said, one of the keys to the game. We also saw Tucker really play well.
Yeah.
Especially in the first half, but still had a great game in the second. So many guys touching the ball. Colin Johnson having another fantastic night. Sort of had an off week last week, didn't get too many opportunities, but this week he was back, putting up productive numbers. So once again, all around, everybody is being that next man up, feeding that hot hand.
Yeah, I really do not see many poor performances from Carmel tonight. Everything that we talked about, we saw happen in execution in this game, especially Norval Tucker really coming through. Probably one of the best games I've seen him play. He should be really proud of himself tonight.
Yeah, and forcing another fumble, an interception, 2 fumbles.
Oh, yeah, it was 2
and
fumbles.
adding on to this illustrious amount of turnovers that Carmel has secluded so far this year. So just, once again, outstanding show by the defense.
Yeah. And a huge hats off to Carmel, winning for the 50th time in school history on homecoming night. Great job, Hounds.
Yep, love to see it. We'll be back here in 2 weeks on CHTV. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.